Hey guys, welcome to Not for Broadcast. Not 100% sure what the game's about. I saw a couple streamers play it, and it looked pretty fun and interesting. From what little I can gather, I am a TV producer that is controlling a newscast, well, several newscasts, and the government doesn't let us televise certain things, censorship and all that. And I'm a little confused. I either go with it or don't go with it. I think for the most part, I go with it, but then there's certain parts that I can, not go against, and it's kind of a little choose your own adventure in that aspect. I don't know. It looked really interesting and fun, so I figured I'd get it because it was on sale. And yeah, I think it's only like a 6 or 8 hour game, so it should only take us a couple streams. So yeah, let's check it out. As you can see, I'm a little late getting started. I was hoping to get back soon enough to set up my settings, so you'll have to give me a couple minutes. Major what? I guess I can censor certain things. Whoa.
And I'm Jeremy Jones.
But yeah, you'll have to give me a couple minutes to kind of set this up, I guess.
Starting! Get every single one of you's a bit Jesus.
Analytics.
What a wild ride this has been.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Options.
That's a very blunt question.
I'm gonna use.
Advance is lying to you.
We'll just go hard.
Friends and neighbours, and have confidence that the
Hardcore
team will keep you safe.
Auto sensor, auto headlights,
But now you start to see, yes?
electrocution, snuggle hug. I don't know what any of this means. Content warning. We're about to view a detailed content warning that contains major spoilers. No. So be prepared, guys. Bad things are afoot. Bye.
We're still vassal slaves. We're
English?
just occasion.
Master, these screens.
Oh, Megan. We're only getting started. Good evening. I'm Megan Wolf.
And I'm Jeremy Jones. Our main headlines tonight.
Graphics. Most ordered, yep.
Get every single one of you's a bit
Sure.
Jesus.
Sure.
What a wild ride this has been.
So I assume the game is going to teach me these things?
Well, that's a very blunt question.
Advance is lying to you.
Sure. Archive. I'm guessing we get to see previous archives. Edit note. I don't know what Rushes is. Adverts.
And neighbours, and
Profiles.
have confidence that the team will keep you safe.
Play. Enter a game name.
Now you start to see, yes?
My
People never happy. It's never
First
enough.
game. Story mode. Experience the story without the stress. Non-broadcast mechanics are off. Viewers are
Are
very
you saying
forgiving.
that Advance have cured
Less
death?
challenging. Non-broadcast mechanics are less demanding. Viewers don't switch off so easily.
We're still vassal slaves. We're
Broadcast.
just in
Recommended. A balanced experience. Non-broadcast mechanics and viewer ratings provide a reasonable
We're
challenge.
only getting started.
Showrunner. A real challenge. Non-broadcast mechanics are more frequent
And I'm Jeremy
and more
Jones.
difficult.
Our main headlines
Viewer
tonight.
stop watching quicker.
Starting!
Sure. I should turn down
That's
the
all coming up on tonight's National Nightly News.
Wow, that's loud. I want to hit escape, but I'm afraid we might skip it. Bear with it, guys! Holy crap! Can I hit escape now? Use the number keys on the keyboard to select screens 1 to 4. Day 1. The election. Okay, let's maybe just turn this down by a huge degree. Seems to be maybe a little too quiet now. Hang on, I think that's a little loud. 25. Trying to get the audio down. Okay, hopefully this is okay. I don't know, it's still kind of... I don't know. Okay, hang on. Let's go nuts. Let's turn this down to 20. Huh. Okay, I am going to have to trust OBS on this. Alright, I really hope this is good sound. Looking at my OBS levels, this should be okay. Maybe bump it up a little bit more. We'll bump it up to 50. But according to OBS, this should be okay. Unfortunately, I won't know until I check the VOD, which will be tomorrow, and we'll be halfway through the game. So, I apologize if the audio is not great. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to use the Force and hope for the best. Okay, hopefully this is okay, guys. There's people. Ooh, hello, Miss November. I am looking at the calendar and the cake sale. I want to see the cake sale.
Hi, David, I have a call for you. I'm just putting it through. All right, mate. Dave here. Listen, I know you've only come in to clean up the place, but I've got a bit caught up, so you're going to have to run the news tonight. Now, don't worry. It's not hard, and I'm going to stay on the phone and help you. First, I'm going to give you a quick tour of the broadcast room, so if you're not doing it already, look forwards towards all those screens.
Hang up. I have not paid for this. Staff drinks. Okay, election day. So that is November 8th, it looks like.
Right, look up at the top. That coloured bar is your audience. You want to keep the viewers going up and not down. Underneath that, you've got the screens. The one on the right is the broadcast screen. That's what the viewers are seeing at home. It's only a couple of seconds behind the master screen there in the middle. That's the one you control. Now, the 4 small screens on the left show the different signals coming from the studio, and you can choose between them using the numbered buttons on the vision mixer at the bottom left. Don't worry, I'll talk you through it and you'll pick it up in no time. Now, have a look to your left. These plugs control everything in the studio. I've left them set up for you, so provided you haven't fiddled with them, all you have to do now is throw the master trip switch and we're in business. Once you've got the power on, face the front again.
Fan vision mixer. VHS track, speakers, sound desk.
You can see on the broadcast screen that we're in the end titles for the show before us. Fortunately, they go on for fucking ages, so there's plenty of time for me to explain. Oh, right, okay, they're over, so we haven't got long now till the broadcast. Right, quickly, mate, look down under the desk.
Coming up later on tonight on Channel 1.
I turned the fan on.
It's the semi-final of the quotation game.
You can see a load of videotapes on the left. They're your adverts. Pick any three and load them into the machines on the right. When you've done that, look up to the front again.
Series The Shape of Now, which tonight looks at the history of the knee-length sock and its
Crazy Neil just sounds fun. And it's pink. Exercise with ham sleeves?
multiple award-winning movie
For healthy housewives. What is this one's? Oh, we can't see it.
Prawn and mayonnaise?
You know, seafood makes me come out in pustules.
Yeah, I thought it might increase our viewing figures.
Every day.
I'm guessing we're on that time limit. Just throw them in.
Load the ads. The broadcast is starting soon.
And yet,
Right, quick as you can. Select screen one.
But now, it's time to join Jeremy Donaldson.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main stories tonight.
Okay, we're all good. Next thing is going to be the throw to the news titles on screen 2. There'll be a countdown, but I'll count you in as well. Just relax, mate. It's all gravy.
Buys Honest Andy's Totally Independent and corners the flowered market. Top chat. Sports fans everywhere celebrate as popular footballer Johnny Hamsleeves wins Sports Personality of the Year. And a spoonful of sugar. Meghan will be chatting with movie star Lawrence Blunderclatch about his new movie, The Medicated. And, of course, we'll be going live to Advance headquarters to hear what the leaders of this fledgling party have to say on their historic history.
Right, button
That's
2
all coming up on
in
tonight.
3,
National
2,
Nightly News.
1, now. Lovely, mate. Next thing is to throw back to Jeremy with button 1 when that globe in the middle shrinks down and vanishes.
I feel like this is something a computer can do.
Here it comes. Switch to screen 1, now. Lovely, mate.
The votes are in, and it's a decisive win for Advance.
We often get a bit of interference around this time, mate. Keep your eye on the machine at the bottom right. Use that slider that's flashing or your scroll wheel to move the wave up and down, keeping the green bit in the white bit.
But critics have accused him of a severe lack of actual policies
Weird.
and of being deliberately vague. The opposition parties have all conceded defeat to Advance's overwhelming mandate, but have yet to appear publicly. However, former Home Secretary
Right, it's going well. All you've got to do now is play the advert at the end of the segment. Make sure you don't play it too early or we'll all get fired. Now the clock at the top is counting you down to the advert. When it reaches 0, press one of the 3 play ad buttons over there at the bottom right. I normally play the first one at the first break and so on, but you can play them in any order you want. I'll count you into it as well, but keep your eye on the clock.
Can I play the same one over and over?
3, 2, 1, advert.
1 minute back, everybody. Jeremy, I need you to fill after the ads.
What? Why?
Wanker Snatch is running late. I thought I'd ask him about the election.
Personally, I wouldn't try to confuse him with any big words.
That's the same policy we use with you. I thought that was our little secret. It's all right, he doesn't remember anything I tell him.
I'm deeply uncomfortable with your burgeoning friendship.
Love you too.
Yeah.
What?
Wicked, we made it to the first ad break. You're doing great, mate. But this is where it starts getting a bit trickier.
What?
This next sequence is what we call a multicam sequence, because you're going to be cutting between multiple cameras to keep things interesting. A lot of it's down to personal taste, but here's 3 good rules of thumb. 1. Try and keep the shot on whoever is doing the talking. 2. Don't stay on the same shot for too long, 10 seconds at the most. So if you're on the person who's talking, try and throw in the odd reaction shot or pull out to the wide shot for a bit just to keep it interesting. 3. Don't stay on reaction shots for too long. A couple of seconds is usually enough. Then the audience want to see who's doing the talking, yeah? Stick to these rules and you'll be fine. It's not as complicated as it sounds. You've seen programs on television, haven't you? Make it look like those. Might as well get screen 1 selected now. No need to wait for the broadcast to start. Try and stay ahead, mate.
We're coming back from the break. Quiet in the studio.
Thank you so much.
10 seconds, everybody. Going in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Later, we'll be hearing from shock election winners Advance. But first,
Get ready to go to Megan on screen 4.
is here with a star of both stage and screen. Megan?
Thank you, Jeremy. Megan Wolf, culture correspondent. And today I have a guest who starred in everything from Shakespeare...
Right, go to Blunderclatch on screen 3 when she says his name.
By none other than Lawrence Blunderclatch. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, my dear. I do hope you believe me when I tell you that being with you here today is among
Switch to 2 for the wide now.
May I say, having you here with us is among ours.
Right, now just try and stay on whoever's talking.
Your latest movie, which is called The Medicated.
The Medicated, yes.
Wow, what was that like?
Well, as I said to Peter at the Rat, that's Peter Jensen, the director. Do you know him? He's a wonderful chap, he really is.
Give us a look at Megan's reaction. Lovely. Now back to Thunder Twat.
I said to Peter, what a wild ride this has been.
What am I doing?
You know what, Megan? I really meant that.
Wow, that is fantastic. And am I right in saying that the character you play in this movie is quite an academic one?
Absolutely right. A scientist.
Was that a challenge at all?
What exactly are you implying? But seriously, yes, you're right. It was a complete departure from my last starring role when I played Sergeant Brock Rockman in Bullet Man. You'll remember that that was the true story.
Been on that show a bit long.
Soldiers fight for a love that surpasses all others. A love, of course, for freedom. I think it's grossed over $1 billion, but honestly, who's counting?
It's a role that saw you scoop 2 Best Actor awards, if I remember correctly.
It's so sweet of you to mention it, but I really am not in it for the awards, although those 3 little statues do take pride of place on my mantelpiece.
With all the others, I'm sure. So, if you're not doing it for the awards, what is it then that drives you?
That is a beautiful question, Megan, and not easy to answer. Like you, I'm afraid. Cut me, and I will bleed. And often, that's how it feels, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Bleeding, giving, suffering for one's audience. I suppose in the end, I do it for the difference.
Oh, that was 3 minutes, Mark.
I do it for the people that I inspire.
Oh, I thought there was only like 30 seconds left.
But most of all, I think I do it for the positive change that I can bring about in the world.
And today, of course, we're in for some real change, it looks like, in the coming few months. What do you make of this historic election result?
Oh, well. Well, now you're asking. Historic election result. Indeed. Historic is the word. Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Very difficult. But
Remember the 10-second
I've
rule.
always been quite clear that when it comes to politics, one should always strive to not fuck things up.
Shit, he swore. Oh, well, don't worry, he won't do it again.
Sorry, I said fuck.
Shit, he did it again. Okay, don't panic. I'll explain how to deal with swearing at the break.
Medicated, which opens next week.
Right, they've swapped the shot of Jeremy on screen 1 for a VT of the movie clip. You'll get a countdown on the screen, but I'll just let Megan cue you in.
My character, Dr. Lance Hemlock, is faced with a decision that could affect humanity's very survival.
Exciting stuff. Let's take a look. Exciting stuff.
Cool, looks like Blunderclatch is losing it in the studio, but we ain't got time for that. There's more interference coming. It's a bit trickier this time, mate. Use that little flashing joystick to the left of the knob, or hold down your middle mouse or Alt on your keyboard, and as the frequency changes, match it to the white bit by dragging right. No, mate, drag right.
Oh, I see.
Will do for now. Next, we're going to change the amplitude. Same as last time, little joystick or hold Alt or middle mouse, and this time, push upwards. Upwards, mate, upwards.
Dr. Hemlock.
We're going to change the world, do you remember? Won't I listen to you?
Dr. Hemlock.
You told me, but I didn't listen.
Doctor.
I'm drowning, Lance, you said.
You need to see this.
No, it's all too late.
Look at this.
The virus. The sterility. This formula. This is the key.
We can stop it.
Yes.
Not bad. You'll get it with practice.
We have to ask ourselves.
Remember to use the clock at the top to count you in.
This is hard. I didn't pay attention, but I think we lost a lot of green.
Right, I guess I better explain how to deal with bleeping out swear words. As you've probably noticed, the broadcast screen, here, is about 2 seconds behind the master screen, here. When someone says a naughty word, the bleep button lights up, like this. 2 seconds later, you'll hear that swear word going out on the broadcast, and you need to hold down the bleep button, or the spacebar on your keyboard, for as long as the swear word lasts. It can take a bit of practice getting used to hearing 2 things at once. Just stay calm, and you'll get it. And if you can't tell when to bleep, just above the button, you'll literally be able to see the sound scrolling by. All you gotta do is hold it down while the red bit is over the red line. Simple. Of course, if you do it by eye, you'll have to take your eye off the screens. That's why real professionals do it by ear. Most people like to have the volume of the broadcast screen a little bit below the master screen. Let's set it now. As you turn it up, you'll hear the advert getting louder. Good. You're set to start censoring. Like I say, it takes a little practice, but I'll try and help you through it, and soon we'll have you bleeping like a pro. Remember, button lights up, count 1, 2, and hold it down.
More than 2 areas of outstanding natural interest. Isn't it time your
Oh, we gotta time it with this.
Now that you've got the feed, don't wait for the broadcast to go live. That's too late. You can use the number buttons on your keyboard, 1 to 4.
Running the country. Seriously?
We've had worse. 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. And I'm told we can now go live to Advance headquarters, where the 2 leaders, Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury, are about to make their acceptance address.
Oh shit, he's pissed.
Shall I
Get ready
start?
to bleep.
Go for it, Pat.
Shall I start?
Okay, well, thank you all for coming, and, well, where do I start? What?
Where did you swear?
They said we couldn't do
They
it.
certainly did.
They used every dirty, low-down, lying, southern bastard trick they had against us. But you, the people, you saw right through their shite.
I'm sorry about the language there.
Sorry about that. I've had a couple of celebratory pints. Makes me coarser than the Greenwich Fanny.
Memorably put.
Nailed it.
But to be honest, who can blame Peter for celebrating? Who can blame
Throughout
Peter
the
for
campaign,
celebrating?
you've heard
us say that Throughout the campaign, you've heard us say that advance are not a political party. When things are going well. A party is what you have when things are going well. You don't need a party. When the country is suffering, you don't need a party. A team that can change things. A team that can change things. But today is day one of a new future. Fairer future. A better, so perhaps we should all be celebrating.
Except for the rich. For them the party's over. They shouldn't. For them the party's over. They should be putting their shitting pants on and opening their dusty checkbook.
Again, colourfully put, but not inaccurate.
They're not the one talking.
Before we came out here to address the nation, we used our executive powers to pass the Assets and Wealth Act. Working with the tax office, we have produced a definitive list of every person in the country with wealth into the millions.
You know this sort of, probably you rather you don't. Because the likes of you and me are not welcome in their gated community.
Tomorrow we will be introducing a sweeping reform of the tax system in this country.
This is hard.
No more hiding wealth offshore, no more trust funds or creative accounting. A simpler, fairer, unavoidable set of taxes.
Get back to who's talking.
I've got nowhere to
Perfect.
I've got nowhere to hide. We revoked your passport. We revoked your passport. You want to leave like you threatened before the election. That's fine.
Mix it up a bit, eh?
That's fine. You're going to pay first. You're going to pay back.
Advance are going to turn this country from a nation of warring individuals, from a nation of warring individuals, to properly fund health and education, to properly fund health and education of us, to raise the living standards of us all.
Get on the speaker, mate.
You'll see when we've reclaimed what's ours. That's absolute. So to you posh twats. So to you
who pay your pittance to serve them drinks in their private clubs, to serve them drinks in their private clubs.
Too long on this, mate.
Time to get even. So they've got
Advance have this to say to you. Advance have this to say to you. We are coming for your sports cars and your mansions and your vineyards.
It ends today.
We will put the wealth of this country back where it should have always been, in the hands of the people who created it.
It ends today.
Yes, it ends today. And tomorrow, we'll start making it fair again, just like we promised we would.
And until then, ladies and gents, I suggest we all get pissed.
I can't argue with that. Thank you for your time.
Well, an interesting acceptance speech there from the leaders of Advance, and our apologies for the fruity language. Hopefully we got that bleeped out for you in time. If not, someone's going to be in trouble. So, as the country braces itself for new government, that's all from us this evening at the National Nightly News. We'll be back tomorrow with full coverage of the first day under Advance. I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Have a peaceful night.
Right, looks like you've got it now. Thanks for all the help, mate. I've got to go. Ferry's about to leave. Probably won't be coming back. Job's yours, mate. Good luck.
Boring
Wait.
politics then.
Not coming back.
Weird fever dream. Am I dying now or something?
You should be so lucky. I'll see you tomorrow night.
Not coming for a drink?
No, got a date.
Lucky you. Try not to get murdered.
Try not to get murdered. Challenge room unlocked.
Really gets the lunchroom talking. From tomatoes and oils to leafy greens and...
When the programme's finished, you'll get a broadcast report. It's 3 pages. This first page shows you how well the broadcast went. Each sequence and an overall grade. Remember, grades mean bonuses, and they keep the boss happy. If you want to know more about how it went, select more info. If not, select continue to move to the next page. Right, this is an optional section for when you really want to understand what happened during the show. You got a graph there showing you what the audience did. They're a fickle fucking bunch. And of course you can really drill into the details if you want to get better at making TV. I never came here, never once.
I'm assuming this is the audience rating, and then yeah, we just drop. All offensive words were censored. An interference-free show. An exceedingly poor edit. Oh, you get what you pay for.
Page. It tells you how much you're going to get paid and how much wealth you have overall. That bollocks at the bottom shows you the financial state of our main advertisers. But you don't own any fucking shares. You're a cleaner, for God's sake, so why would you care?
You have received your full wages. Current wealth, broke ass poor.
This is the last page and it tells you the state of the world. Tells you how well the government's doing. And down the bottom there, this one's important, tells you what Channel 1 currently thinks of you. In other words, what the boss thinks.
I'm kind of scared what this implies later on.
Alright mate, welcome to the archive. This is where you can have a quick look back at what you've done and how it looked to the public. There's 3 sections: broadcast, rushes and adverts. Let's start with broadcast. Click on it now. Over on the left, that's all the broadcasts that you've done. Click on any one of them and hit load tape. Once it's finished loading, you can use the rewind and the fast forward at the bottom there to help you get to the bit you want to see.
In a few moments, we'll be going live to tonight's National Nightly News. But before that, let's take a look at what's coming up later on tonight on Channel 1. At 7 o'clock...
For more hostile controversy as global mega corporation Remington's Fist But first, the votes are in and it's...
I wonder if this is actually showing what we edited.
Yes, you're right. It was a complete departure from...
Kind of want to redo this and do a bunch of jump back and forth still. Oh yeah, there's yeah, like the interference.
Dr. Lance to you, Miss Flanagan.
Okay. I want to edit note. Alright, so I'm guessing 2016. No, wait. It was November. Oh, that's today's date. Oh, okay. Hi. Yeah, okay.
Right, click on rushes and let's have a look at those. Right, this is the rushes room. It's pretty simple. The 4 screens you can see, they're going to show you the 4 signals you got from the studio during the actual broadcast. Difference is you can mute any combination of them so you can have a listen to the stuff you weren't allowed to show. Select the broadcast and give it a go, and when you're done listening to the backstage secrets, hit back.
Apparently he's been drinking since lunchtime.
Christ, he's a liability in the best of times.
I know. God help whoever has to bleep this. 10 seconds, everybody.
I mean, a lawyer and a TV personality running the country. Seriously?
We've had worse. 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. And I'm told we can now go live to Advance Headquarters, where the 2 leaders, Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury,
not muting.
are about to make their acceptance address.
Shall I start?
Go for it, Pat.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming, and, well, where do I start? What a day.
It's very green.
Right through there, shite.
I'm sorry about the language there.
Sorry about that. I've had a couple of celebratory pints. It makes me coarser than a Granny's fanny.
Huh. All right. And this just lets me watch the commercials.
Where can
You arrive home to find Post on the mat, most being nothing more than the usual junk mail. One letter, however, catches your eye. The team wants to know you. Curiosity gets the better of you, and you open it. It's a form from the new advanced government, asking for information on all citizens. The first page is filled in already. Your name, Alex Winston. Your spouse, Sam Winston. Your children, Charles Winston, 14, and Susie Winston, 19. Well, you muse, at least they got the basics right. That's a pretty nice house for someone who's broke-ass poor. The rest of the questions are left for you to complete. They appear to be mandatory. Question 1. Upon starting a new job, you would... Ease yourself in and orient yourself with your new workplace. Question 2. A colleague in a different department has confided in you that they've been taking home confidential information. Now, a file of minor importance has gone missing. You would recommend that your colleague reports it. Question 3. An entire department was fired today for consistent unperformance. Your boss has put in place new targets that are significantly higher than the previous ones. You would leave work on time. Question 4. It's the annual company barbecue, and you and your family have been invited. You go if you're free, but wouldn't mind missing it. Question 5. You've had a long, successful career, and now are about to retire. In your speech, you refuse to attend. In your spare time, you encourage and support your children with their hobbies. Your ideal holiday getaway would be surrounded by natural beauty, getting away from the strain of the daily grind. Question 8. It is most important that the government keeps people happy. Thank you for your cooperation. Advance knows your time is valuable, and we appreciate your help in leading the nation to a brighter future. Sign your name. And we are enemy number 1. Day 6. A family matter. It's late. Sam and the kids have gone to bed. You're just drawing up a favorite coffee cup, a worn-out souvenir of your first trip together. The print's faded, but the goofy face still makes you smile. A knock at the window brings you back to reality. There in the garden, clutching a gaudy neon green suitcase, is Chris, Sam's sibling. As soon as you let them in, they sit at the kitchen table, visibly stressed. They? I'm guessing Sam and Chris? Chris takes a deep breath. I'm so sorry for bursting in so late, Alex, Chris stammers. But I need a favor, and you're the only one I can ask. Oh, they as in me and him, I guess. Are you okay? Should I go get Sam? No! No need to worry, Sam. It's you I came to see. I just need 2 minutes. You've heard about the Assets and Wealth Act? Not really. Must have passed me by. Chris's face is screwed up tight now. They're taking people's hard-earned money to fund the lazy. I'm not saying the top 1% or whatever don't have stupid money, Chris adds hastily, but they can afford it. People like me. We're going to lose everything, and that's why I'm here. Okay, so what exactly do you need? Chris's eyes seem to be resting comfortably on the floor tiles. Look, I know it's a lot to ask, but I need to borrow your passport. A passport? What for? They've taken mine in half the Blade countries, but people always say you and I look similar, so... Chris is pacing now. I need to leave before it's too late. Once I'm out, me and my money will be safe. But I need to go now before they freeze my accounts. Alex, please. I wouldn't ask if I had any other choice. Surely there's another way. It can't be that serious. Chris's mouth falls open. You're joking, right? I've always done right by you and Sam. I've treated your children like they were my own. We're family. Does that mean nothing to you? It's against the law. I can't help you with this. Fine. I'll solve this myself, Chris spits. So much for family loyalty, eh? Grabbing the nigh-on fluorescent suitcase, Chris disappears into the night. You go back to the dishes, picking up Sam's cup again. The peeling face now seems to bore into you. The knot in your stomach tightens. Well, not to mention that if he takes our passport and leaves, we're stuck without a passport. Screw the 1%. For now. Why are we back in here? We're a janitor. What?
Let's get set up and get on with it, eh? So I can get back to my guests. First of all, let's get the power on.
Why am I doing this again?
Come on, mate. On your left, the plugs and stuff. You need to get at least the bottom 4 plugs on. Right, let's load up the adverts.
That's weird. Down is on and up is off?
You know, load the tapes under the desk. Look down.
That's kind of weird.
You might want to have a bit of a think about it. Your decisions have consequences, don't they?
Should we play this? Is this toy safe? Mr. Snugglechugs? Remington Vists must have toy for your child this Christmas. Advanced Go-Getters. Introducing Advanced Go-Getters Teen Dream. An elegant new skin cream with a quirky little twist. Alan James is coming soon to a medium-sized hall near you. Crazy Neil's Festive of Yuletide Ornament Spectacular. I mean, kind of have to. Oh, that lets us eject. Ah.
Right, you can see they finally got the old headline system up and working again, and the Vision Mixer's already in headline mode because headlines always come at the start. It's really simple, mate. These 2 buttons at the bottom of the Vision Mixer, you can see they now have A and B on them, and they're to help you pick image A on the left bottom screen here, or image B on the right bottom screen here. It's really simple. This little clock here will count down the number of seconds you have to make your decision. Provided you make a decision in that time, you're fine. And you can change your mind as much as you want until the clock reaches 0. But if you don't make any decision, you'll be fired before you even get to make another choice. I just want to say one more thing, mate. The pictures you choose to show of these people, well, that's how the public is going to perceive them, and that's going to affect their lives. So like with the adverts, choose carefully.
No,
and we're off. Good luck, mate. If I get time, I'll call you back in the next break. Yeah, I'm coming, darling.
My friend Janet says theirs gets really hot.
Is this Janet who thinks dogs have their own secret language?
Yeah, the one that mistrusts the moon. 10 seconds, everybody.
Not the best source of consumer advice, then.
Don't blame me when it explodes. Going in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main headlines tonight. Destination unknown. At the end of Advance's first full week in office, we ask exactly who's leading this charge.
What?
Tonight, I'll be discussing what the new future might hold with a leading economist and radical free thinker. With the Assets and Wealth Act on the brink of raising living standards for the vast majority of the country, I'll be asking my guess if we're on the way to a new future. Out with the old, Remington's Fist have appointed Sophia Remington as their new CEO. The following photo, taken from our archive, gives us a sense of this influential young firebrand who, at the tender age of 23, becomes the youngest female CEO in history. Sophia Remington has always impressed. She was top of her class at university and graduated with the highest honours, immediately being asked back to lecture. The markets have responded favourably to Sophia's appointment, with stocks rising 30 points in light of the announcement. In her first press conference this afternoon, Sophia announced a children's toy named Mr. Snugglehugs. Sophia promises it'll be all the rage this Christmas, but concerns have been raised about the product's safety. Making a splash, intrepid scientist Dr. David Wong and marine biologist Ingrid Swarsborg-Horgensford have today set off to explore Dante's Taint. The recently discovered cave system was previously thought unreachable, but thanks to a new breakthrough in underwater flood technology, the pair hope to successfully reach the imposing central cavern and the undiscovered plant species it contains. This is, of course, only the latest in a series of successful expeditions for this unlikely pairing. In a joint statement about the dangers their team might face, the pair stated, "We will face the plentiful challenges together like we always have." Playing the field, rumours abound as sporting legend Johnny Hamsleeves is snapped leaving Bush, one of the capital's hottest clubs. The footballer was caught while out celebrating being named Sports Personality of the Year last week, as reported by this very programme. And judging from the angle and velocity of that spray, it looks like Johnny may have been celebrating a little bit too much. I certainly wouldn't want to be his dry cleaner. And grievous bodily charm. With advance promising a radical new position on crime, how afraid should we actually be? I'll be going live around the country to talk with people who've seen the criminal justice system from every...
Did it crash? Oh, what? Oh, that's horrible. We got so far in. And by so far in, I mean like 5 minutes in.
Good evening, I'm Megan Wolf.
And I'm Jeremy Dawes.
What?
Our main headlines tonight.
Looks like your game didn't close properly. If you experience issues of any kind, please reach out and try our utmost to fix them.
What a wild ride!
Alternatively, scribble your bugs into a relative and hurl them into the sea?
Well, that's a very blunt question.
What is challenge room? Enter fearful. Bozeman has taken away the cable to the satellite to save money, and because he thought it might be a snake. Now we've got interference all over the shop, and it's coming faster than everyone. Faster than ever. Stay on your toes. Oh, I guess it's like a challenge room, like just for more challenges. The audience may switch off sooner during challenges. Rewards.
Advance is lying to you.
I'm assuming we have to start all over again.
Don't make any decision. You'll be fired before you even get to make another choice.
Oh, okay. I guess it saves it before each section.
The pictures you choose to show of these people, well, that's how the public is going to perceive them, and that's going to affect their lives. So, like with the adverts, choose carefully.
No,
and we're off. Good luck, mate. If I get time, I'll call you back in the next break. Yeah, I'm coming, darling.
Get one of those. My friend Janet says theirs gets really hot.
Is this Janet who thinks dogs have their own secret language?
Yeah, the one that mistrusts the moon. 10 seconds, everybody.
Not the best source of consumer advice, then.
Don't blame me when it explodes. Going in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main headlines tonight. Destination unknown. At the end of Advance's first full week in office, we ask exactly who's leading this charge. Tonight, I'll be discussing what the new future might hold with a leading economist and radical free thinker. With the Assets and Wealth Act on the brink of raising living standards for the vast majority of the country, I'll be asking my guess if we're on the way to a new future. Out with the old, Remington's Fist have appointed Sophia Remington as their new CEO. The following photo, taken from our archive, gives us a sense of this influential young firebrand who, at the tender age of 23, becomes the youngest female CEO in history. Sophia Remington has always impressed. She was top of her class at university and graduated with the highest honours, immediately being asked back to lecture.
Sounds like what he says after I pick the photo depends on the photo.
Stocks rising 30 points in light of the announcement.
Like it's very subtle, but if you pay attention, you can kind of hear a different inflection.
Sophia announced a children's toy.
But it's actually done really well. It's really hard to
Sophia
tell.
promises it'll be all the rage this Christmas, but concerns have been raised about the product's safety. Making a splash. Intrepid scientist Dr. David Wong and marine biologist Ingrid Swarsborg and Horgensford have today set off to explore Dante's taint. The recently discovered cave system was previously thought unreachable, but thanks to a new breakthrough in underwater flood technology, the pair hope to successfully reach the imposing central cavern and the undiscovered plant species it contains. This is, of course, only the latest in a series of successful expeditions for this unlikely pairing. In a joint statement about the dangers their team might face, the pair stated, "We will face the plentiful challenges together like we always have." Playing the field, rumours abound as sporting legend Johnny Hamsleeves is snapped leaving Bush, one of the capital's hottest clubs. The footballer was caught while out celebrating being named Sports Personality of the Year last week, as reported by this very programme. And judging from the angle and velocity of that spray, it looks like Johnny may have been celebrating a little bit too much. I certainly wouldn't want to be his dry cleaner. And grievous bodily charm. With advance promising a radical new position on crime, how afraid should we actually be? I'll be going live around the country to talk with people who've seen the criminal justice system from every perspective. With more and more powers passing to the police and less oversight, are we using an advanced-shaped sledgehammer to crack a nut? All that and mega morph with a group of young actors already experiencing the positive side of the new Assets and Wealth Act firsthand. They'll be talking and performing later. That's all coming up on tonight's National Nightly News.
30 seconds back.
What? Why? Oh, interference. Yeah, too much interference out and the audience switched off. Wow, that was quick! I thought it was something with like my screens. Oh no, do we gotta go through that whole thing over again?
I just want to say one more thing, mate. The pictures you choose to show of these people, well, that's how the public is going to perceive them, and that's going to affect their lives. So like with the adverts, choose carefully. And we're off. Good luck, mate. If I get time, I'll call you back in the next break. Yeah, I'm coming, darling.
Get one of those. My friend Janet says theirs gets really hot.
Is this Janet who thinks dogs have their own secret language?
Yeah, the one that mistrusts the moon. 10 seconds, everybody.
Not the best source of consumer advice then.
Don't blame me when it explodes. Going in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main headlines tonight.
I do like how there was like
At the end of Advance's
2 seconds of interference and then all of a sudden we just lost like so many viewers.
Tonight, I'll be discussing what the new future might hold with a leading economist and radical free thinker. With the Assets and Wealth Act on the brink of raising living standards for the vast majority of the country, I'll be asking my guess if we're on the way to a new future. Out with the old, Remington's Fist have appointed Sophia Remington as their new CEO. The following photo, taken from our archive, gives us a sense of this influential young firebrand who, at the tender age of 23, becomes the youngest female CEO in history. Sophia Remington has always impressed.
Why does the news archive have a graduation picture of her?
Graduated with the highest honours, immediately being asked back.
Seems a little weird and creepy.
The markets have responded favourably to Sophia's appointment, with stocks rising 30 points in light of the announcement. In her first press conference this afternoon, Sophia announced a children's toy named Mr. Snugglehugs. Sophia promises it'll be all the rage this Christmas, but concerns have been raised about the product's safety. making a splash. Intrepid scientist Dr. David Wong and marine biologist Ingrid Svalsborg-Horgensford have today set off to explore Dante's Taint. The recently discovered cave system was previously thought unreachable, but thanks to a new breakthrough in underwater flood technology, the pair hope to successfully reach the imposing central cavern and the undiscovered plant species it contains. This is, of course, only the latest in a series of successful expeditions for this unlikely pairing. In a joint statement about the dangers their team might face, the pair stated, "We will face the plentiful challenges together like we always have." Playing the field, rumours abound that sporting legend Johnny Hamsleeves is snapped leaving Bush, one of the capital's hottest clubs. The footballer was caught while out celebrating being named Sports Personality of the Year last week, as reported by this very programme. And judging from the angle and velocity of that spray, it looks like Johnny may have been celebrating a little bit too much. I certainly wouldn't want to be his dry cleaner. And grievous bodily charm. With advance promising a radical new position on crime, how afraid should we actually be? I'll be going live around the country to talk with people who've seen the criminal justice system from every perspective. With more and more powers passing to the police, and less oversight, are we using an advanced-shaped sledgehammer to crack a nut? All that and mega more for the group of young actors already experiencing the positive side of the new Assets and Wealth Act firsthand. They'll be talking and performing later. That's all coming up on tonight's National Nightly News.
I don't like this interference thing.
In the wake of the government's swift enactment of the Assets and Wealth Act, we're talking about Advance's first week in office and what the new future holds. Joining me are Katie Brightman, a leading economist, and Alan James, author of Alan James is Right, The Free Man's Guide to Waking Up. Alan, the government certainly haven't dragged their heels on delivering some of the legislation they promised. But what does the Wealth Act mean for us?
Nothing, Jeremy. We're still vassal slaves, we're just in prettier cages.
A confident dismissal there. Katie Brightman, do you agree?
I'm afraid I don't, no. I think that Advance have realised that the current economic system of unlimited, unending growth is untenable, so they're changing things up.
There I agree with you. They're moving to the next steps in the grand plan.
Grand plan, Alan?
It's all in my book. Alan James is right, Jeremy. We're to become the great herd. Ignorant, sterile, and short-lived. That's what they want.
Or perhaps Advance have just realised that if we carry on the way we are, we will destroy ourselves and this planet in a mad orgy of consumption, if you'll excuse the colourful metaphor.
Yes, orgy is the right word. Only it'll be the overlords having an orgy on our poor broken backs. It's all in my book. Alan James is...
Shamelessly self-promoting? Katie, how do you think the rest of the world will respond to this new approach?
I think they're watching carefully. Advance are the most disruptive threat that the world powers have faced since the last Great War.
Yes, Katie's right. War is inevitable.
Thank you, but that isn't...
And this will not be a war like we've ever seen before. We're talking millions of deaths. We're talking high-tech weapons that can level entire cities. We're talking...
Out of the wrong orifices?
Mock me all you like, Jeremy, but when they murder your parents and they poison your food and they take you away to their camps for hypno-brainwashing, we'll be laughing then.
That might be a great way to sell books, Alan, but you know full well that isn't going to happen in a democracy.
Democracy is dead.
Yes, Advance are radical, and change is always frightening, but the truth is that the Wealth and Assets Act has made more than 90% of the population wealthier and is on target to produce a permanent end to poverty.
Bollocks! What this young lady doesn't understand, Jeremy, is that these are the same people. Maybe they've rebranded, but it's all a little circus act to keep us from seeing the tyrant behind the curtain.
That's where you're wrong, Alan. For a start, they've mobilised the youth vote like we've never seen before.
You say mobilise, I call it grooming. the grooming of an entire generation to walk happily into eternal bondage. They're like psychic paedophiles.
But based on the facts, Katie, what are your predictions?
The Assets and Wealth Act is only the first step. Advance now have a historic budgetary surplus, and as well as properly funding our public services, they're already funneling unprecedented amounts into scientific research and the arts.
Or, as I call them in my book, Frankenscience and opiates. Like opiates, see?
Can we get back to the issue at hand, please, Ellen?
This is the issue. It's all coming from the water, the chemicals. They're pumping it full of belief juice.
Don't get me wrong, I want to see these changes, but only if they're sustainable. If Advance lose their power after spending half of our GDP on dismantling infrastructure, that could be catastrophic.
The catastrophe is that they're succeeding. They've got us sat here talking about their puppet show.
All right, we're running out of time. Quickly, Alan, what does the future look like to you?
A bleak space where we've all been figuratively sodomized into submission.
Of course. Katie?
We might be on the eve of a brave new world. God knows we need some change, but we need to be cautious. Let's walk forwards with our eyes open.
Two very different visions of the future there. Alan James, Katie Brightman, thank you for joining me. When we come back, I'll be investigating law and order before Megan meets some beneficiaries of the Assets and Wealth Act. That's all coming up tonight on the National Nightly News.
1 minute back.
You know, I think they might do some good.
I hope so too, Jeremy.
How much are you being paid by them, then?
Shut the fuck up, Alan. I've never heard so much shit in my life.
Well, we'll see who's full of shit, won't we?
Alan, I can explain it to you, but unfortunately, I can't understand it for you.
Well, I don't know what she meant by that.
I have no idea.
I'm just saying I'll do what I can, that's all.
Oh shit, you will. She's good. You know she is.
I've said a bit of word in, that's all I can do.
10 seconds, everybody. His little JD scared of the big bird caught you with water.
If that sticks, I'll destroy
5,
you.
4, 3.
Welcome back. In our second segment, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the state of law and order in our country. Advance have already tasked what they are calling a solutions team to move this serious social problem to the top of the list. Tonight, we go behind the headlines to meet the people who live with the criminal justice system every day of their lives. First up, we have Gregory Judge, a lawyer who sees the problems close up on the front line. Can you hear me, Gregory?
Yes, I've got you, Jeremy. Thanks for having me.
What's it like on the front line of the hard face with the cold hand of justice?
Well, as you can imagine, Jeremy, we are massively understaffed in this country. We're working every hour we can just to try and cope with the caseloads on our desks.
Which must affect the quality of support you can offer.
Well, we can barely keep up with demand, Jeremy. There just simply isn't enough being done at a systemic level to relieve the problem. We need more support from ministers. What are you doing? We need change at a structural level,
I'm
Jeremy.
leaving, Greg.
Not a good time, darling.
It never is it? I'll be at my mother's.
Just hang on.
Ouch.
No, the problem isn't a local one, Jeremy. It's nationwide. Just give me 5 minutes. I'm talking to Jeremy Donaldson.
Oh, have you mentioned your affairs?
No. Well, the affairs of the Justice Department that we should be concerned about.
Hello, Mr. Donaldson.
Hello, Mrs. Judge.
We need legislation to relieve the pressure on our public
Sorry
servants.
to interrupt the news, Mr. Donaldson. Can I have a moment to tell my husband I'm leaving him?
Yes, I totally understand. Quite the picture of a burdened legal sector there. Gregory Judge, thank you for joining us. Police Chief Constable Bob Peel, a man with a very different perspective on our nation's crime. Do you think there's a problem with the system, Bob?
I'm sure we all do, Jeremy. I am sure we all long for a return to the days when you could safely walk the streets of your community at night, looking in through windows and generally enjoying your neighbours without the risk of being terrorised by some thug with a knife. Or cosh.
So you feel the streets simply aren't safe anymore? Where have we gone wrong, Bob?
Well, that's not a simple question, Jeremy, but I think it all comes down to moral decay. We've diluted our culture and lost touch with what it means to be a citizen of this once great country. Also, as the vicar noted in Sunday's sermon, we probably shouldn't have banned hanging.
And to what do you attribute this moral decay?
Foreigners. It's all in the Bible. Look, Leviticus clearly states that... Oh, bugger, hang on a moment. Jeremy, your bloody gimp's escaped. Delia? Delia, could you give me a little help, please, dear? As I was saying, Jesus didn't like immigrants much, did he?
And just to be clear, you think it's the immigrants who are responsible for the moral decay?
Absolutely, Jeremy. Back in your box, Clive. Back in your box. Delia, I really could use a little help with this.
Oh, sorry, darling. I was spaying the badgers.
Yes, I'm
Oh, my.
Jeremy Donaldson. Clive, could you put him back in the box?
Oh, Clive, you know it's Wednesday. You go back in your gimp space.
And
Off you go.
whose responsibility is it to make a change, Bob?
Well, it is certainly not the responsibility of the decent, good, white people of
Darling,
this...
where's the padlock?
Oh, hold on just a moment.
Oh, Clive, this is...
Wow!
Naughty, naughty boy. Mummy said...
Clive, I am not having this again.
Mummy said, get back in your gimp space. Naughty, you beast, Clive.
As I was saying, Jeremy, moral decay. Crime is the responsibility of the criminal, no one else. Look, everyone has a sob story, but we don't all end up as barbarians, do we? Look, when our daughter Alice comes home with an A-, does she go on a killing spree? No, she takes 3 of her pills and hides under the stairs like a normal child.
Thank you, Bob. Bob Peel there, really locking down the police's position on morality for us. And finally tonight, hopefully uninterrupted, it's time to get to the heart of the matter. Tony Dawson has recently been released from prison after serving 3 years for aggravated assault, burglary and menacing a SWAT. He's agreed to talk to us today, which is also, I believe, his birthday. Many happy returns, Tony.
Cheers, Jez. Call me Titwank Tony. Everybody else does.
No, I'm not going to be doing that. Can you tell us what it's like in prison, Tony?
Titwank Tony. Prison's a mixed bag. Structure's quite nice, but it's a constant battle against institutionalisation, as you can imagine. And obviously, titwanks are quite hard to come by.
I'm picking up that you're not alone there, Tony.
Titwank Tony. Yeah, sorry, my friends are throwing me a surprise party. Good bunch of lads.
Okay, well, we're trying to let you get back to that party as soon as possible. First, let me ask you this. Do you feel that your time spent in prison helped to rehabilitate you in any way, Tony?
Titwank Tony. I don't think it's as easy as that, Jez.
Sopen!
Yeah, I think asking that is an oversimplification.
It sounds like it's getting quite busy there, Tony, but let's try and soldier on. Since leaving custody, have you been able to find a new job?
Yeah, all the boys are here. Big Chris, Little Chris, and Vampire Chris.
Hello.
This one's, yeah?
Yep.
One sec, love. Titwank Tony's on the news. Rehabilitation's difficult with the current system, Jez. Just not set up for it, you know? It's inherently unjust.
Sopen!
So, do you feel tempted to... I'm sorry, who's this now?
You are joking. Chrissy Free Bollocks has only got Mr. Fancy, oh. Not now, fellas, I'm on the news.
It seems like we've caught you at a bad time.
Little boy.
Oh, I can't really hear you, mate. It's getting a bit busy here. Jesus.
Yes, we seem to be losing the signal here, Tony.
Fucking way, lads. Believe that!
Well, we're just trying to get that signal back. I think we... Yes, Tony?
Ha ha ha.
2 seconds. How has this happened, Tony? Can you hear me? Well, we seem to have lost our train of thought there a little. Hopefully you, the viewer at home, have managed to glean a broader understanding of the serious and complex issues around law and order. After the break, Megan will... Don't go away. We'll be back after these messages.
1 minute back, everybody. That went well.
Piss off.
Mate, I ain't got long and I'm quite drunk. It's been a great night. In this next section, there's a bit of music. If you edit in time with the music, you can see the result on the Vision Mixer, and the public will love that. Don't worry if you don't, though. You won't get punished for it or nothing. Just try and stay in the groove. Also, one last tip. When the music starts, turn down the broadcast volume. Right, enjoy the music bit. God, I love music. God, I'm so pissed. I think I might go and throw up in a bit.
What's the vision thing?
I've got this. I'm
sure he's on his way. Come on, it's welcome back. How hard can it be?
This is on you. 10 seconds, everybody. We're going to open on Megan. Camera 2. Going in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome's Black, I'm Megan Wolfe, and on tonight's Culture Spot, I'll be chatting with one of the first beneficiaries of the Assets and Wealth Act, a team of inspiring young people from Scritchford Sixth Form College who today received a grant from Advance to take their play, Hey, Friendship, on a tour of local secondary schools. Welcome to you all. Well, let's start with you two, Harriet and Charlotte Winstanley-Hamilton. Girls, you must be thrilled.
We are, Megan. We're overwhelmed, to be honest.
And I believe you two are sisters, is that right?
Yes, Charlotte's my oldest. I'm the older, more popular one. Only joking.
Harriet and Trey were really the ones who came up with the whole idea.
So, Harry and I were shooting the breeze in the cafeteria, and I said, hey, let's actually do something.
So I went to look for a drama teacher.
But she'd been laid off due to budget cuts. Fortunately, I directed a pantomime when I was at university, so I knew the ropes, as it were.
Oh, right, yes, but you're the maths teacher, aren't you?
Yes, that's me, Jeff Algebra, maths teacher.
Maths is really important.
Oh, thanks, Steve.
Maths is really important.
Yeah, thanks.
As is theatre. It's one of the oldest art forms in history, Aristotle.
I just think that when we travel around all these problem schools and the poor kids see us, they say, hey, I really want to be like those attractive kids. And that's a very beautiful and powerful thing. We touch our audiences and they touch us right back.
I suppose with a surname like Algebra, there was really only one choice of career for me. My wife, Angela, and I, we often laugh about it.
Angela Algebra.
Yes.
We just want to bring a bit of song and joy into people's lives.
And teach people about the difficult issues. The issues in the play are what really matter.
And I think you're going to be showing us an extract from this play, aren't you?
That's right. To put into context, I play a young first year who's having some troubles at school.
Her character doesn't actually have a name, yeah, because in a way she's like all of us.
It's like a metaphor. Maybe she's you at home, or like, maybe she's you, Megan.
Maths is really important.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Put it in, coach.
Yes, thanks, Steve.
Put me in, coach.
Right, well, I'm going to have a little chat with your teacher while you run off and get ready. I can't wait to see it. That's it, that way. So, Jeff, when did you first hear about the grant?
2 days ago. A letter from Advance arrived at the school. Now, the headmaster thought it was all a prank, but his secretary retrieved it from his bin and brought it to me.
Wow, how did you react?
I also threw it in the bin. But then Harriet and Trey rescued it, and they rang the number at the bottom of the page, and next thing you know, we're on tour.
Wow. Well, I think we can all guess which way you'll be voting from now on.
Do you know what? It's funny because Angela and I don't usually vote. We're not very political. I'm a mathematician, of course, and she's a paraplegic mainly. But we did used to watch that Peter Clements DIY show back in the day, and so we thought, why not? Let's have a go at this old democracy thing.
Okay.
And here we bally well are.
Good stuff.
Fucking brilliant!
So, let's have a look at a short section of Hey, Friendship.
Dear Diary, I'm not sure I can take another day at this school. Another day of tears. Tears. Another day of fears. But still I walk the corridors alone. Dreading what might be around every corner.
What's around the corner? What's around the corner? What's around the corner?
Oh, hi Gary.
Oh heavens no! It's Gary the Fist!
Gary the Fist!
Going somewhere, little first year?
Great. I've been looking for some poor victim to bully all morning, but will this make me feel better about my violent father?
Excuse me, I'm late for maths. It's my favourite subject. And so important.
Maths is for losers.
What?
Maths is for losers.
My arm's stuck, coach.
Keep going, for fuck's sake.
Right, maths is for losers. Now, give me your lunch money.
Double lunch for me today, but why am I only truly happy when I'm eating?
Not today, Gary the Fist.
What do you mean not today? Who are you? What do you mean not today? My arm's free coat.
Brilliant, keep going.
Right, who are you to stand up to me? I, Gary the Fist, and you're just a sad little girl with 2 gay dads who's all alone.
That's where you're wrong, Gary the Fist. These are my 2 new friends. Vanessa is captain of the netball team. Yeah. And Blake owns a motorbike.
Yeah.
But I can't fight all 3 of you, and I don't have any friends of my own.
Wait, how does this work?
Take a look at me. Take a little look at my face. I could be you. She could be you. And you could be me.
Or you could be me.
Life can be peachy keen. If you work as a team.
I don't know how this is supposed to work.
It's my choice to be mean. So stop now, make a different choice.
Listen to that inner voice.
Hey, listen up, I won't take no crap. Who said middle class girls can't rap? I ain't afraid of your cruel lads. I'm a mother loving rebel, but I still love maths.
Hey, kids, I'm Gary the Fist. People think that folks like me probably shouldn't exist, but that's just prejudice, and I'd do better if you knew the way that I became Gary the Fist. I grew up on a council estate. The park was hip, but the flats weren't great. My dad used to come home drunk and late, and he'd hit my mum, and for dinner he had to wait. Where's my dinner?
It's not ready.
Where's my dinner, woman? Don't make me ask you again.
Hitting women is wrong.
I guess life's pretty hard on a council estate. 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 It's so damn hard on a council estate.
Life can be peachy keen.
Yeah.
If you work as a team.
We just work as a team.
It's your choice to be me.
It's my choice.
So stop now, make a different choice.
Listen to that inner voice.
Friendship!
Yes!
I think I understood what I was supposed to do.
Well, thankfully that's all we have time for tonight on the National Nightly News. Join us tomorrow night for all the headlines from across the country. My name's Jeremy Donaldson. Have a peaceful night.
And we're out.
Oh, that was brilliant.
What the literal fuck was that?
I believe that was art.
I believe I've got a 14-inch cock, but it doesn't make it so.
I have a similar belief about an adequate paycheck.
Oh, someone please get these twats out of my studio.
I don't even know what to say.
will revitalize the appearance of the strength of your face's skin. 41% of women we surveyed said they loved their visible flakes, and 7 out of 10 dentists would recommend it. Jus de cochon, because we said so.
Well, I don't understand really how we got an A+ on that, but alright. All offensive words were censored. I kind of feel like that was a little iffy. An interference-free show, adequately edited. We played one advert too late. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. You received a small bonus. Current wealth, broke ass poor, still. This is hard. You arrive home after another long shift to find a note waiting for you on the countertop. You recognize Sam's hurried scrawl. Chris has been evicted for not paying rent. You know where this is headed. Sam's going to pick up Chris's stuff from the street. Don't wait up. Underlined twice. So this is your fault now, is it? Soka Lee pressed play on the cheap horror film you were going to watch together. It used to absolutely terrify you as a kid, but as always, makes the two of you laugh. It's not the same without Sam, but you chuckle to yourself occasionally. Just as you get to the good bit, the part where Candy decides to investigate alone, your 14-year-old son interrupts. He wants to go to a friend's house. He looks at you in a way only a child can, pleading, but somehow defiant. Tell Charlie no. He knows he's not allowed out this late on a school night. Charlie's voice gets louder and louder as he sees you're not going to change your mind. You pretend that it's for my own good, but you really just want to be left alone. I fucking hate you! He hesitates. He knows he's gone too far, but in his rage, he can't bring himself to back down. Before you can open your mouth, he storms up the stairs and slams his door. You check in on your son before you head to bed. You knock on Charlie's door, and when there's no answer, you quietly open it. Your son is under the duvet, sulking. He's determinedly facing the wall, but once it's clear you're not leaving until he talks to you, he sighs and turns to face you. He needs to learn to control his temper. He begrudgingly apologizes for his outburst, and both of you sleep much easier having cleared the air. Wow. You can't help but crack a smile as you look around the table. The snow has settled on the grass outside. The kids are pulling a cracker while your elderly mother tries to keep her eyes open. You did always have a soft spot for Christmas. You're sitting at the head of the table now, your dad's place. It's been a tense afternoon. Everyone can feel it. It's the first time you've seen Chris since you refused to part with your passport. It's a big change for Sam. The two siblings used to be inseparable. Yeah, inseparable. Christmas is usually such a nice time of year. A clatter of cutterly, I can't say that word, is all that can be heard as Chris stares pointedly at you. You make a toast. You stand and raise your glass. Merry Christmas, everyone! I'm glad we're all here. There are murmurs of cheers and much clinking of glasses. Chris doesn't move. Yeah, we're all here. No thanks to you. Chris? Sighs Sam. Come on now, it's Christmas. Can't we put that behind us? Sam's right. Let's try to enjoy ourselves. Chris turns away from you, taking some frustration out on a cheap cut of roast chicken. Your daughter, Susie, sees the opportunity to corner you. You know how you love me? You chuckle. This sounds familiar. I'm not gonna like this, am I? You joke. Susie rolls her eyes. You know me and my friends are planning on traveling this year? Susie begins innocently. Isn't she younger? I mean, Chris at 14 is too young to be traveling with friends, let alone however old she is. Well, I was hoping you'd help me with the money. She's interrupted by Chris, who makes a discursive snort. I wouldn't hold your breath, Susie. Not known for your generosity, are you, Alex? Ignoring Chris, you smile at your daughter. We'll see so many parts of the world and learn so much about other cultures, Susie gushes. You sigh and lower your voice. You know money is really tight now that Grandma's staying here. You just don't have that kind of money, Susie. But please? Harriet's parents are helping her. Well, we're broke-ass poor, so... I'm sorry. I wish we could afford it, but we can't. What? You promised! Your daughter yells. She looks from the face of one parent to the other and opens her mouth to speak. Instead, she lets out a frustrated shriek and buries her head in her hands. Chris starts to applaud. And the Parent of the Year award goes to... Chris starts a sarcastic drum roll on the table. You look to Sam for support, but none is forthcoming. Pay no attention, Suze, Chris goes on. Alex has no time for family. Isn't that right? You can't bring yourself to speak. Pathetic. Chris puts an arm around Susie and escorts her out of the room. Jude makes one more snap and I'm kicking him the fuck out. Sam follows you without meeting your gaze. Charlie excuses him awkwardly as you start to clear the plates in silence. Have you had a nice birthday, Pat? Your mother chimes in cheerfully. Merry fucking Christmas. Yeah, there's a lot of reading going on. You're leafing through the pile of accumulated posts. Each new bill pulls on your gut like a lead weight until a flash of blue makes you pause. Recognizing the teal advanced logo on the envelope, you tear it open. Dear Winston residents, thank you for sending us your passport for approval. You can now confirm their receipt and validation for the new Asset and Wealth Redemption Scheme. Scheme? That's a weird name. Also, you had to send in your passport for approval? That sounds fishy. Hopefully this will make the last month of arguments with Sam worth it. As such, it is my pleasure to enclose a check for which we hope you will see as a symbol not only of our gratitude to you, but of our unwavering commitment to creating a society free of inequality. Throbbing of your fresh, speed-induced paper cut is the only reason you can believe you're awake. A check! And a sizable one at that. Chris was right. Advance really are redistributing wealth. We will continue to strive for the betterment of this nation and its people. Forwards together, Julia Salisbury and Peter Clement. The weight of your financial burdens lessens slightly. It's bliss. Why does the zip on this damn case never close? It's your anniversary. Current wealth holiday time? Every year, you and Sam go away for the weekend, usually camping. You're not made of money. You've been looking forward to it for ages. Finally getting some alone time together where you can forget about the noise of life. No kids, no work, just a bit of romance and some peace and quiet. The zip finally gives up the battle, and you drag the bulging suitcase down the stairs. The answering machine is blinking on the hall table. Good evening, Alex. This is Mr. Bozeman. I'm calling to inform you that you will be required to work this weekend. Your heart sinks. Some information has come to light concerning the rising tensions between our nation and foreign powers. and the national nightly news team will be working around the clock to ensure we break the story first. Why do you need the janitor there? Needless to say, I will expect your attendance tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. sharp. Have a pleasant evening, Alex. Shock turns to annoyance, and then fury. What are you going to tell Sam? Sam comes downstairs, brimming with excitement. Kissing you, they grab the car keys from the dish and start to load your bags into the bag. Ignore the message you need this weekend. Meh, it's a video game. Ignore the message you need this weekend. Message deleted. What was that? A voice comes from behind you. Nothing important, you reply as you put on your coat, adrenaline coursing through your body. Grabbing Sam from around the waist, you practically slam the front door. You might as well enjoy your time off. You're going to pay for it on Monday. Also, you could just say that you left before the message was there. How would you know? When you get to work Monday morning, you get some sour looks from your exhausted colleagues. A note sits waiting for you. The immaculate script is blood red. I am very disappointed, Winston. Was it worth it? Yeah. I'm sorry, I was already gone when you left the message. How was I supposed to know? Your son, Charlie, hovers at your elbow as you read. Do you find yourself striving to achieve? Are you an active member of the team? Do you like reaping the benefits of cooperation? Join the Advanced Go-Getters today. Forwards together. This doesn't sound like the youth club he told you about. Sometimes splurging. Charlie grabs the flyer from you and thrusts the form into your hand. So I can walk there straight from school and Ben's sister can drop us home after. So you won't have to do anything. I kind of know what's going on. Like, this feels like the, I forget what they're called, but the Nazi youth group. But we don't know that yet, so... You sign the permission slip for your son to join the Advanced Go-Getters. Your son is thrilled. It's heartwarming to see him so passionate about becoming an active part of the community. This can only be a good thing. And my son later turns me in. Some guys at work gave them to me. You can't go. Sam sits in front of you, brandishing 2 tickets. You see the title in bold letters. Alan James is right, in front of you. I'm really unsure. What do you think? Shall we go? Free tickets are free tickets. He's a character and it'll be hilarious if nothing else. The show is entertaining, but much less funny than you thought. He's a powerful public speaker, and something about it sticks in your mind. Lying in bed that night, wide awake, long after Sam's breathing turns heavy, it hits you. It was the crowd. Not laughing, but roaring. After a particularly long day at work, you come home to find the post sorted into piles, as Sam has taken to doing recently. Most of it is the usual rubbish, but a letter with the increasingly familiar Advanced logo and "Urgent, respond immediately" plastered on the front in a correspondingly urgent red font grabs your attention. Let's get it over with. Dear Winston residents, this letter is to inform you that the Advanced government has taken another step towards our fight for equality. By nationalizing the largest private corporations and redistributing the resources among the citizens of this great country, the Partnership Bonds program ensures that wealth created by the people is delivered to the people. You don't remember this being put into the manifesto. Every household will become a partner in one of 3 carefully selected institutions, chosen by Advanced for consistently high performance and financial security. Please note, all returns are based on public opinion and cannot be guaranteed. Oh, we could use the news term benefit. Please select one of the following. We'll go Pleasure Corp. Our business is your pleasure. From sport to travel, or even just some you time, you can't say pleasure without leisure. Well off. Thank you for making your selection. Please return this form using the envelope provided. You will receive a report from your partnerships in 3 to 6 working months. Sims even Advanced can't defeat the quagmire of governmental bureaucracy. The future of this nation is in partnership. Forwards together, Julia Salenberry and Peter Clement. Just how much influence could you have? Loading screens could be skipped by inventing a time machine. Nice. Okay, guys, I need a 2-minute break to grab some more water because I was not expecting that much reading. That was a lot of reading. I'll be right back. I'm back. Thanks for waiting, guys.
Good evening, Alex. It's Bozeman here, your boss. While you're powering up and getting the adverts loaded play the advance advert, preferably at the second break. Right, that's the lot. Have a great show. Total pip. My god, that weather looks nasty.
I missed the last part of that. Must be played. Introducing Advance's radical new transition centers. The joy of screws. Subscribe weekly to enjoy this delightfully twisted reading experience. Tommy Harris explains the importance of prostate checks.
Mysterious symbols appeared overnight on thousands of buildings throughout the Gabon.
Wow, we had like no time on that.
Exclusive live interview with Prime Ministers Julia Salisbury and Peter Clement. I'll be asking what this mysterious symbol might mean.
After 3 months of record-breaking approval ratings, could this be the daring first move of a silent resistance movement? And what would that mean as we go into the future?
We shall overcome. Trapped in Dante's taint for more than a month now, doctors Ingrid Svorsborg Horgensvoord and David Wong announced today that they're considering 2 possible options.
With 2 of the finest minds in science working together, hopes are still high for the eventual return of the team to dry land.
Without enough engineers to successfully fix their craft, the team seem likely to attempt to farm the cavern's ecosystem while they wait for rescue from above ground. I think I'll stick to risotto, Jeremy.
Bearing their opinions, the formerly rich are fighting back with a naked protest.
Our very own Robin Short was on hand earlier today when this new protest group first presented themselves.
It might seem amusing to us, but clearly this formerly overprivileged section of our society is not adjusting well to the new future. It's often too easy to forget that not every citizen is thriving under advance.
Fallen angel, notorious addict Johnny Hamsleeve seems to have reached a new low in his battle with booze, as this recent picture reveals.
Johnny's star certainly lacks its former glow these days, with public concern over his mental and physical health growing at an alarming rate.
Since being banned from the national squad earlier this year after urinating on a referee during a friendly against East Grinchley, things seem to have gone from bad to worse for Hamsleeves.
Is this once celebrated role model about to become the bad boy of sport?
And onwards and upwards. In an attempt to put the Mr. Snugglehugs disaster behind them, Rimington's Fist CEO Sophia Rimington today announced a brand new product that already has the markets buzzing with interest.
This groundbreaking product came as quite a shock when it was revealed earlier today, though its critics are skeptical that the young CEO can fulfill her promises.
Described as a breakthrough far ahead of its time, the male contraceptive pill is heralding a sexual revolution. Its fans are celebrating the fact that men can finally take equal responsibility for contraception, but others have expressed concerns over its safety and side effects.
With that exclusive Prime Ministerial interview coming up later,
and our very own Patrick Bannon coming to you live from the first annual Sports Board final.
You won't want to miss a second of tonight's National Nightly News.
It's a new opening.
First tonight, after the Christmas horror caused by Mr. Snugglehugs, we have an exclusive interview with one of the victims.
Poor 7-year-old Timmy Tadlock, like so many of those affected by the Christmas bloodbath, has spent the last 3 months undergoing a series of reconstructive facial surgeries.
Last week,
What?
he spoke for the first time since the tragedy. Tonight, he talks to us.
Before we go to the interview, however, this station would like to issue a full and frank apology for any part we may have played in the tragedy. We should never have advertised Mr. Snugglehugs. Without our publicity, the sheer scale of this tragedy, and now upwards of 8,000 casualties, might have been averted.
Wow.
On behalf of the Nightly News team, we're sorry.
In future, we will do better.
Now it's over to Robin Short at the Tadlock family home. Robin?
Thank you, Megan. I'm here with Mr. and Mrs. Tadlock and their 7-year-old son, Timothy. Thanks for spending time with us today.
Yes, well, you're bloody lucky we're spending any time with you at all. After what you lot did. Irresponsible. I mean, whose idea was this anyway?
It's all right. It wasn't your fault. As you can see, Megan, there's still a few open wounds here. I'll tread carefully.
Wow.
Timmy now. Hello, Timmy. Can you see me?
Mummy, who's that lady?
It's the lady from television, Timothy. She's going to ask you a few questions.
And you be careful now, it upsets him to remember.
Don't worry, Mr. Tadlock. I wasn't the youngest ever editor of the Swinstead Middle School Inquirer for no reason. So, Timmy, can you tell us what happened to you? You had just unwrapped Mr. Snugglehugs, hadn't you? Was he under the tree?
Yes, I could smell him already. He smelled like love.
Ah, yes, that'll be the fur. Scented with hoof.
I was so excited. I ran up to my room and gave him a big hug. He was so soft and warm, like a cat, before he got in the way of Daddy's Porsche.
Bloody cat had a death wish.
And what did Mr. Snugglehugs say to you?
He blinked his real action eyes and said, "You're my very best friend." But I sure wish Mrs. Snugglehugs was here, and she can't be, for just $89.99. and then it's the General Air 41.
And is that when he burst into flames?
Be careful.
And then he exploded.
I've asked you nicely.
And am I right in saying that one of his real action eyes is now permanently embedded in your cheek?
Yes. When I took him in at night, it glows through bandages. I know it's under there.
Staring at me.
Yeah, some of the other children have started calling him Timmy Three Eyes. And with his glasses, that's 5.
It's too many eyes, Robin.
And what's the last thing you remember before the darkness overtook you?
He looked at me with his one eye and laughed. Laughed as he burned.
It sounds very traumatic. Do you have nightmares?
All right, that's quite enough of you two coming in here with your camera trying to make a buck out of our suffering. I won't have it.
Mr. Tadlock, just a couple more questions. Timmy, do you think you will ever be what we can call
No, you've had your
normal
questions,
again?
and now look. Oh, you've made him cry with all 3 of his eyes.
Calm down, you're Do you think your parents will ever really love you again?
Right, that's it, enough.
Wow.
So there you have it, Megan. Just one of the many victims of an indescribable tragedy that has shaken our nation.
I'm pleading, am I not?
Thank you, Robin, Harry and stuff.
Many questions to be answered by Sophia Remington in the coming days and months, I'd wager. How will she turn this crisis around?
So, Jeremy, what are the warning signs a consumer should look out for when they're spotting a dangerous toy?
Well, Megan, experts advise to always check for the new Advance mark, which guarantee a level of safety and quality.
Yeah, can we just get a close-up on camera 3 here? So if we take a look at this National Nightly News mug, you should see the mark just on the base of it there.
In the wake of the scandal, the government were praised for their swift response in bringing in this set of stringent checks and new products.
It certainly is good to know that someone's watching out for our families. When we come back, our very own Patrick Bannon will be live from the Sports Board Finals. Stick around, you won't want to miss it.
We'll be back after these messages.
What do you mean load tape?
Oh, sorry, I'm bursting.
Oh, it didn't get put in? Oh, let's... Okay, so we have to turn the power on for it to... That's weird. Because we loaded it in and then turned the power on, but I guess that ejected all the tapes?
Mandatory that you play it. You still have a free choice for the other 2, so read those tape labels carefully, but make sure you play the advance advert, preferably at the second break. Right, that's the lot. Have a great show. Toodle pip. My God, that weather looks nasty.
Oh, how's it going with Steve?
Why are all men such pricks?
That well, eh?
Apparently he has a complicated relationship with his fate.
No.
Sorry, are you saying he chose his imaginary friend in the sky over you?
I don't know why I talk to you.
probably just a really awful date.
10 seconds, everybody. Like I said, all of you.
Did your personality accidentally slip out?
Pricks. Going in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolf.
Oh, we gotta do this again.
Uncooperative. A mysterious symbol has appeared overnight on thousands of buildings throughout the capital.
Tonight, in an exclusive live interview with Prime Ministers Julia Salisbury and Peter Clement, I'll be asking what this mysterious symbol might mean.
After 3 months of record-breaking approval ratings, could this be the daring first move of a silent resistance movement? And what would that mean as we go into the future?
We shall overcome. Trapped in Dante's taint for more than a month now, doctors Ingrid Svorsborg Horgensvoord and David Wong announced today that they're considering 2 possible options.
With 2 of the finest minds in science working together, hopes are still high for the eventual return of the team to dry land.
Without enough engineers to successfully fix their craft, the team seem likely to attempt to farm the cavern's ecosystem while they wait for rescue from above ground. I think I'll stick to risotto, Jeremy.
Bearing their opinions, the formerly rich are fighting back with a naked protest.
Our very own Robin Short was on hand earlier today when this new protest group first presented themselves.
It might seem amusing to us, but clearly this formerly overprivileged section of our society is not adjusting well to the new future. It's often too easy to forget that not every citizen is thriving under advance.
Fallen angel? Notorious addict Johnny Hamsleeve seems to have reached a new low in his battle with booze, as this recent picture reveals.
Johnny's star certainly lacks its former glow these days, with public concern over his mental and physical health growing at an alarming rate.
Since being banned from the national squad earlier this year after urinating on a referee during a friendly against East Grinchley, things seem to have gone from bad to worse for Hamsleeves.
Is his once celebrated role model about to become the bad boy of sport?
And onwards and upwards. In an attempt to put the Mr. Snugglehugs disaster behind them, Rimington's Fist CEO Sophia Rimington today announced a brand new product that already has the markets buzzing with interest.
This groundbreaking product came as quite a shock when it was revealed earlier today, though its critics are sceptical that the young CEO can fulfill her promises.
Described as a breakthrough far ahead of its time, the male contraceptive pill is heralding a sexual revolution. Its fans are celebrating the fact that men can finally take equal responsibility for contraception, but others have expressed concerns over its safety and side effects.
With that exclusive Prime Ministerial interview coming up later,
and our very own Patrick Bannon coming to you live from the first annual Sports Board final.
You won't want to miss a second of tonight's National Nightly News.
First tonight, after the Christmas horror caused by Mr. Snugglehugs, we have an exclusive interview with one of the victims.
Poor 7-year-old Timmy Tadlock, like so many of those affected by the Christmas bloodbath, has spent the last 3 months undergoing a series of reconstructive facial surgeries.
Last week, joyfully, he spoke for the first time since the tragedy. Tonight, he talks to us.
Before we go to the interview, however, this station would like to issue a full and frank apology for any part we may have played in the tragedy. We should never have advertised Mr. Snugglehugs. Without our publicity, the sheer scale of this tragedy, and now upwards of 8,000 casualties, might have been averted.
On behalf of the Nightly News team, we're sorry.
In the future, we will do better.
Now it's over to Robin Short at the Tadlock family home. Robin?
Thank you, Megan. I'm here with Mr. and Mrs. Tadlock and their 7-year-old son, Timothy. Thanks for spending time with us today.
Yes, well, you're bloody lucky we're spending any time with you at all. After what you lot did, they're responsible. I mean, whose idea was this anyway?
It's all right. It wasn't your fault.
As you can see, Megan, there's still a few open wounds here. I'll tread carefully. I'm going to speak to Timmy now. Hello, Timmy. Can you see me?
Mummy, who's that lady?
the lady from television, Timothy. She's going to ask you a few questions.
You be careful now, it upsets him to remember.
Don't worry, Mr. Tadlock. I wasn't the youngest ever editor of the Swinstead Middle School Inquirer for no reason. So, Timmy, can you tell us what happened to you? You had just unwrapped Mr. Snugglehugs, hadn't you? Was he under the tree?
Yes, I could smell him already. He smelled like love.
Ah, yes, that'll be the fur, scented with hoof.
I was so excited. I ran up to my room and gave him a big hug. He was so soft and warm, like our cat, before he got in the way of Daddy's Porsche.
Jolly cat had a death wish.
And what did Mr. Snugglehugs say to you?
He blinked his real action eyes and said, "You're my very best friend. But I sure wish Mrs. Snugglehugs was here, and she can't be, for just $89.99. And then it's the general error. 41.
And is that when he burst into flames?
Look careful.
And then he exploded.
Look, I've asked you nicely.
And am I right in saying that one of his real action eyes is now permanently embedded in your cheek?
Yes. When I took him in at night, it glows through bandages. I know it's under there, staring at me.
Yeah, some of the other children have started calling him Timmy Three Eyes. And with his glasses, that's 5.
It's too many eyes, Robin.
And what's the last thing you remember before the darkness overtook you?
He looked at me with his one eye and laughed. Laughed as he burned.
It sounds very traumatic. Do you have nightmares?
All right, that's quite enough of
Timmy?
you two coming in here with your camera, trying to make a buck out of our suffering. I won't have it.
Mr. Tadlock, just a couple more questions. Timmy, do you think you will ever be what we can call
No, you've had your
normal
questions,
again?
and now look. Oh, you've made him cry with all 3 of his eyes.
Calm down,
I will
Do you
not-
think your
I haven't
parents
had
will
it
ever
yet,
really love
Marjorie.
you again?
Right, that's it. Enough. Come on,
I'm
babe.
happy,
Come on.
Mr.
No.
Tadlock.
Oh, your poster, your favourite poster. Timmy, are you okay? Oh.
So there you have it, Megan. Just one of the many victims of an indescribable tragedy that has shaken our nation.
I'm bleeding, am I not?
Thank you, Robin. Harrowing stuff.
And many questions to be answered by Sophia Remington in the coming days and months, I'd wager. How will she turn this crisis around?
So, Jeremy, what are the warning signs a consumer should look out for when they're spotting a dangerous toy?
Well, Megan, experts advise to always check for the new Advance mark, which guarantee a level of safety and quality.
Yeah, can we just get a close-up on camera 3 here? So if we take a look at this National Nightly News mug, you should see the mark just on the base of it there.
In the wake of the scandal, the government were praised for their swift response in bringing in this set of stringent checks and new products.
It certainly is good to know that someone's watching out for our families. When we come back, our very own Patrick Bannon will be live from the Sports Board Finals. Stick around, you won't want to miss it.
We'll be back after these messages.
1 minute back.
Oh, sorry, I'm bursting.
Oh! She's very good.
Who?
Megan,
Yes, she is.
watch your back, Jeremy. Women are coming.
I'm more worried about this water dripping onto my head.
Alex, Boson, we're getting reports in that naked protesters might try and spoil the sports board final by waving their fleshy bits about. Try and make sure you don't broadcast it. It's 6 p.m. for God's sake. No one wants to see fannies on the news. Bozeman out.
I do. Oh, so the phone didn't ring. I hate you, boss! Oh, I can't hang up. Uh-oh.
Our expert legal team will help you make all those difficult arrangements.
That's what it says.
Yes, I understand that, but I always say welcome back.
I think we should just keep it as it is.
Well, of course you do. I've got one hack line.
What's that supposed to mean? I didn't write it, Jeremy.
That's all right, fine. Jenny, there's something wrong with the auto cue.
10 seconds.
Oh, I just felt a drip again. Have they not fixed this?
Want to see us fry? It's good for the ratings.
5, 4, 3.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. I'm Megan Wolf. Coming up later, we'll be speaking to the Prime Ministers about their exciting new healthcare facilities, transition centres.
Nice to see they care.
You're absolutely right, Jeremy. But first, We're going now to our own Patrick Bannon, who's reporting live from the finals of the new game that's gripping the nation, Sports Board. Patrick?
That's right, Megan, you join me live here from the final of the first annual Sports Board Championship. It's been a hotly contested competition so far. I think it's fair to say these two have been dancing around each other all season. First up, we have Eddie Striker. She's the more experienced of our two players today. Striker has got an accuracy of 7, a danger rating of K, and a 12-month driving ban. Striker's known for her signature move, the Lanky Hamster. And facing her tonight, hoping to prove himself with a career record of 12 outs, 14 finishes, and a divorce pending, it's Mr. Wingspan himself, Tommy, the Fingernail Harris. Just waiting on the ref now. The slapping ceremony is taking part.
What?
Still going on. Striker go first. Striker, of course, first to start as she won the trivia round earlier on by some margin. Harris, perhaps the brawn and not the brain.
Oh my.
Stupid. Eddie Striker. Nice start there from Striker. She's determined not to let the nerves show. Not after last time. On to Mr. Harris now. Tommy. Using his arm to pick up the ball. Not a bad shot there from Harris. Back to Striker for shots number 3. All right. She's gone to sort of throwing it under her legs. Not bad if you ask me. Was there contact? Don't know why you couldn't. To Harris. Bit of business with the ref, but it got sorted out. Back to Harris now. A ball in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
Football. Move back.
I'd say that's fair, but what do I know? Oh no, and Harris is not going to be happy with that. So really not a good start there for Tommy Harris in round 1. We can only hope that round 2 treats him a bit better. But first, of course, after the argument with the ref section, it's time to change ends. Now we have the ceremonial changing of the ends.
I don't know what I'm watching. You but poorer?
And of course, now they go back to the starting positions, as that makes sense. Striker giving it large.
Second round, Double, Harris.
Winter round 2 now with Harris. Okay, we seem to have some sort of streaker on the pitch.
Oh my.
Any of that stuff. She appears to have slogans across.
Oh my.
Try and ignore all of that. Security, I'm sure we're going to take them out as soon as possible.
We might have to go back and watch this again.
We're going to get the situation resolved as soon as possible. They're trying to carry on play, but it's proving a bit difficult, and I'm struggling to follow. Because it's quite an eyesore, and women's bodies, yeah. All right, great. Okay, so back into round 2 now, and Harris absolutely determined to close that massive gap. Eddie Striker. No, it's just some of the tightest play I've seen ever. Harris. And was that the fitted thumb screw? We haven't seen that since the Heats. What a brilliant move. Back to Striker. And we know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. That is, of course, the ground sound. Excellent bit of play here on both sides of the bucket.
I kind of feel the same way the ref looks right now.
I don't know about you at home, but I'm finding the technical mastering display here absolutely blooming jaw-dropping. The ref has spotted something in Harris's neck or head. And Harris is having an absolute shocker. What a miserable start there for Tommy Harris. But he is a late bloomer, of course, the boys said that. And after all, it is a game of 2 halves. 4 rounds and 7 subgenres. But now, of course, it's time for the half-time show. Sponsored by Remington Smith.
On my whistle.
Must be some music here to start the half-time show. Okay, another posh protester loose on the court here. We can only apologise for that. We'll do our best to shield you from having to look directly at it.
Oh my.
He's, running around here with his genitals on display for all to see. And ruining what was shaping up to be quite the dance interlude there. Now he's thrusting himself in Harris's face. Security's on it. And the bucket has been knocked over. I cannot stand it when the bucket gets knocked over. Hopefully he'll get taken out now. Genitals flying around for all to see. Really, if you ask me, not Sunday morning television. And out of there, hopefully taken away, never to be seen again.
Final poses. Oh boy, cannot be in the final pose.
And a lovely finish there on both sides of the bucket. I wouldn't like to call that one. And as we head into round 3, I'd love to know what's going on in these 2 players' heads. But unfortunately, because of science, we can't. Thank you. Not bad. So that ball boy's giving me the eye all day. I don't know what's going on there. Striker there, not a great start. She looks a bit flustered, I think, after all that swinging around. Back to Harris here. God, what I wouldn't give to be that ball. I'm all right, ladies. Tommy Harris. And it dribbled down his arm, which is actually a really good move, because, of course, if it dribbles down his arm and goes on the floor, it's not going in the bucket. Back to striker.
So they're trying to not get the ball in the bucket?
And striker's gone for the animal bonus there, but, of course, perhaps... And yes, Harris has counted with a tiny bell. That is wonderful play. Of course, we've seen that before. Look at her face. She is absolutely gutted. What a mud. That could have been the clincher. What a massive shame.
Harris receives possession now.
Harris to serve now. Harris, of course, undefeated by Kestrel in his last 4 battles. So, here we go. Tommy Harris. That's all right. Not bad there. He threw it quite far away from him, which is quite a good idea. Very clever there. Perhaps a little contact. Caution from the referee, who's being, if you ask me, a little bit harsh. Ellie Striker. And she's let the nerves get to her. What the hell was that? You hate to see it, don't you? You cannot believe it. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, like, I mean, this is a mess now. I don't know what I can be doing about this. I mean, sort of breasts and genitals for all to see. I mean, there's only so much I can do. They're sort of everywhere, aren't they? All right, I'll try and carry on. The players are trying to carry on, but of course it's difficult because these protesters, hopefully we can get them taken off soon so we can carry on with the match. Nonsense is going on here. Yes.
We want our money.
Yes, very good. Take them away. Bloody wasters. Absolute wasters. Oh, jog on!
This is the mime round.
It's an absolute bloody... Okay, and now we're going to go into the final round. And of course, as it's a Tuesday, the final round is a mime round. Who could believe it? Nice imaginary shot there from Harris. It really could go anywhere at this point. Really high-level play here from 2 absolute juggernauts of the sport. The bucket getting moved back to its proper place. About time, if you ask me. She's juggling it around from her hands. Interesting. And she's put it in her mouth like as if it was an egg. And now she's and she spat it out. She did the egg spit. So a wonderful move there, quite late on.
Illegal spit.
From striker. But she's in it to win it.
Harris's ball.
On it like a car bonnet.
How long does this go for?
Tommy Harris here, having a bit of beef. And he's peeling it as if it were a banana, which is an interesting move. Not sure if he hasn't had his potassium or what's going on today with Harris. And he's throwing it, and the banana was the ball! What a fantastic move there from Harris. Unfortunately, that is the end. What a pathetic, there we go, Jeremy, that is over. How can he look his 8-year-old son in the face tonight? What a lump. We just have to wait for the referee now to announce it to make sure it is all official.
Contestants in, please.
What?
And the winner of the first annual Sports Board Championship is... everyone!
Okay, the ref has agreed once again a win for everyone, including me as my 15th win in the Sports Board Championship. I'm going to be celebrating tonight with my wife and children. Another wonderful victory for me. Here come the on-site security to collect their medals, their 6th and 7th respectively. And thanks again for watching the Sports Board Championships. What more is there to say? I'm Patrick Bannon. Looking forward to celebrating tonight. And all that's left to say, Jeremy, is back to you in the studio.
The hell was that?
Patrick Bannon had an extraordinary final.
Historic sports board, Jeremy.
I didn't know you were a fan.
Oh, yeah, I can wrench a doubler with the best of them, I'll have you know.
I certainly wouldn't bet against you.
When we come back, I'll I'll be talking live with Prime Ministers Julia Salisbury and Peter Clement, who apparently have a big announcement you wouldn't want to miss.
That's coming up after these messages.
1 minute back.
Fucking microphone shocked me.
What?
Fucking microphone just shocked me. Where's that sound guy?
Everything okay?
Oh, the mics are just trying to kill us now, apparently.
You'll be fine. You're unshockable.
I'm immune to your cheap...
Postman again. Just heard from the chaps in maintenance that this storm is causing the odd power surge. Some of your controls might be a bit, dangerous. Now, I know you're tough and you can take the odd shock for the sake of a perfect news broadcast, but too many in quick succession can stop the old ticker. I'm sure you'll make the right decisions. Postman out.
What?
So sorry about all the buckets. We seem to have sprung a leak. Well, several, actually.
You're going to need a whole new lining up there. Triple C.
We'll listen to it, Minister. It's so good to see you again.
Miss Wolf, your star seems to be in the ascendant. It's a great time to be alive. Megan Wolf.
But that's a firm handshake you've got.
Oh.
She's tougher than she looks.
Okay.
Am I here?
Here, with Mr. Clement on your left.
Right you are, pet.
Your seat down.
10 seconds, everybody.
No, mine's fine. Have you had a little accident?
Chissy cow.
5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. I am delighted to be joined by Prime Ministers Julia Salisbury and Peter Clement. Welcome to the National Nightly News, Prime Ministers.
Oh, please, it's just Julia and Peter.
We don't believe much in titles. You seem very advanced.
We're delighted to be
This is hard.
Well, firstly, I should ask how you feel about the graffiti that's been springing up across the capital. Should we be worried?
Oh, no, you definitely shouldn't be worried.
Well, not unless you've got a fatal paint allergy anyway.
But yes, it does seem that there are still some people we haven't been able to help.
You know, whinges.
People who get to benefit from the many advantages of the new future.
And you know, Megan, as my old mum used to say, there are some pissants who just don't know how to be happy.
We're working hard to reach these people, find out what they're angry about and how we can help. The door to my government is always open.
Something's dripping on me.
But we didn't come here to talk about what may yet turn out to be some alternative arts project.
Which we no doubt will have funded.
When we want to talk to the nation about something far more exciting.
Yes, your office briefed us that you have an announcement to make, but they were being surprisingly secretive about it.
Let me ask you a question, Megan.
Oh, okay, it's not usually how it works, but...
What scares you? I mean, really scares you?
It's death, Pet. She's talking about death.
We're all afraid of our deaths. It's part of being human.
Sorry, are you saying that advance have cured death?
That'll be a vote winner. Yep, that was definitely a drop there.
But while we may not have cured death, we hope we found a way to make it much less scary.
And much less painful, and much less expensive. Look, which is me close-up camera?
Oh,
there?
sorry,
When I was 13, my mum came and got me from school. He had to go to the hospital. My granddad, he'd collapsed that morning, so we'd all to say our goodbyes. And I went in to see him. He were all frail and pale. I was scared because I'd only seen him the week before, and he'd been fit as fiddle. And he said to me, Peter, he said, it's the right time. I don't ever want to be a burden to the people I love. Nope, 3 days later we were back home. He lived with us for 9 miserable years after that. He had to be fed with a rubber spoon. He had a commode, so he'd just take a shit right there in the lounge while we were watching football. He wouldn't even wait till half-time.
That sounds...
It was awful. It were awful for us, and this is the point. It were awful for him. He could see it was destroying me, man, watching him slowly fade away, and he would beg her to turn off his breathing equipment at night, but she couldn't, or she wouldn't. It were a crime, you see, and she didn't want to lose the children as well as her old man.
No family should have to suffer like Peter's did. And now no family will have to.
The health service is today opening the first of 300 new transition centres.
The transition centres will handle everything for your last days. The legal, financial, medical and emotional costs are all catered for and paid for by the government. So even the poorest citizen gets to pass on with dignity when they choose.
And that choice is important. This is a service only for people who choose it. For people who feel they've run their course and don't want to burden themselves or their families with a slow, long, humiliating decline.
You've just given me electric shock.
Are you okay?
I don't know. I think it's from my asshole.
Are you still on the air, Peter?
No, yes. Sorry. My apologies. Oh.
Are you not worried that this new system might be open to abuse?
In what way?
Sorry. I've got sacked again. Can I get a little bit of help here, please?
That the older generation might feel somewhat...
Jesus, a raw shell face, fucker! That one was massive. Right, no, this bastard's coming off.
Sorry, that the older generation might feel somewhat coerced.
Coerced into spending their final days eating gourmet food and drinking fine wine and luxury spas and gardens.
Look, I am perfectly capable of... with a rusty twat!
Please watch your language.
Go get yourself sorted out.
Right.
We're launching a government information film tonight. It should tell your viewers everything they need to know.
You really do move at a breathless pace. After you've yet to be in office a year.
Oh, Megan, we're only getting started.
And on that note, thank you so much for being here. Jeremy.
Right, yes, that's all we have time for tonight. Thank yous go out to our guests. Congratulations to all the winners at the Sports Board final. And we'll see you tomorrow night at the same time. My name is Jeremy Donaldson. If you can, have a good sleep.
And we're out. Good job, everybody.
From benign prostate enlargement.
So they just...
Yes, same thing.
I don't suppose there's any way this could be a good thing.
It's my nephew, so we transitioned the moment I saw the leak.
Did I die? Wow, man, when you start to lose viewers, you lose viewers quick. I should not have played this on hard. Yeah, just like, boom. Everything was censored, interference-free show, and exceedingly poor edit. You've received your full wages. Current wealth, starting to get rich. I don't know these icons. I want leisure. I'm guessing it's this one. Oh, what the? Oh, government. I guess dissidents. And then company. I may have to go back and watch some of the streakers. Yeah, I shouldn't play this on hard. Because I kind of want to pay attention to the broadcast, but there's so much going on that I can't. Whoa.
Alex, oh thank God you're alive. It's Jenny, the floor manager. Are you okay? Alex, you need to get it together. Look at the broadcast screen.
Don't have a calendar anymore. Wait, did we pass out at the end of the last one and then enough time went past that someone took off the calendar?
Just look at it. That's all we've been putting out since you went down. You have to fix it now. Look left, Alex, out the window. See? They're all over it, little bastards. You're going to need a full charge to clear that many off.
What?
Hold down the big button until it's fully charged, then release it to zap the little fuckers.
Is that the Christmas toy?
Excellent, Alex. We're broadcasting again. They must have built up while you were napping. Usually it only takes a tap on the button to clear one. Look, there's a lone one climbing now. Zap it off before it starts to mess up the signal again. Great. That seems to be the last of them. For now. Right. We're about a minute out. Get the adverts loaded up. I've got to deal with my pet idiot. And Alex, keep your ears open. You'll hear them climbing up the tower. Don't let them build up.
Oh my God, seriously?
This has no credibility, Jenny.
Employee training video? Great
It's
new
not a
collectible
mess.
series.
Everything is where it should be. It's ramshackle and characterful, and I expect you to know the difference. Of course Megan's place looked lovely, but I can't see it, can I?
Thanks, Jenny. How's lock-in with the boyfriend going?
Decided to take his chances on the wild streets, eh? Rather than endure another romantic comedy.
Jeremy, Jenny says your hair looks stupid.
Yes, I can hear her.
She says she's not talking to you.
Yes, I know, I can hear her.
Shall I count us in?
Make it so.
Okay, 10 seconds. Break a leg, everyone.
Preferably a furry one.
5, 4, 3.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolf. Our main stories tonight.
Snugglepuck? It's been almost 5 weeks since all the Mrs. Snugglehugs toys woke up simultaneously in factories worldwide and began searching for their husbands. The Mr. Snugglehugs we have so short-sightedly destroyed. And now, as this photograph suggests, they may be changing tactics.
Built to surprisingly traditional gender stereotypes, the Mrs. Snugglehugs have been arming themselves with a variety of household implements. All the more reason to make sure that cat flap is taped up good and tight.
This frightening new development means that even those previously thought to be relatively safe, like the young and fit, must take care to watch their backs and keep their ears open for the soft steps of sinister feet.
Going stir crazy, with no signs of Mrs. Snugglehug's batteries running out, and the government lockdown now in its 31st day, domestic relationships across the country are taking some unexpected turns.
Dramatic reports
31?
begin to emerge of uncharacteristically bold behaviour in homes across the country. And we're not talking about the model planes that occupy so much time in the Donaldson household.
With dating options limited, many house sharers, in particular students, are finding solace in co-tenants they'd previously rejected as unfuckable, indulging in an activity that has become known as snuggle tugging.
Old dogs, new tricks. Bad boy celibacy Johnny Handsleeves announced today that he just can't wait until this lockdown's over so he can start his new career.
It is, of course, up to each of us to choose how we spend this brief spell of collective unconsciousness. But if this photograph, sent by the man himself, is anything to go by, Johnny seems to be making some interesting decisions with regard to his time at home.
Making his announcement by drunkenly shouting at his neighbours from the steps of his capital accommodation, Johnny was heard to repeatedly yell, "I'm gonna open a fucking florist," before failing to get back inside his house and slipping it off over a low hedge. I'll take a dozen roses, Johnny.
The shape of things to come? In their own version of a lockdown for more than 45 years now, the descendants of Doctors David Wong and Ingrid Svorsborgen Horgensvoord and their unfortunate team today managed to get a personal statement to the surface using flagellized imaging equipment.
Many of the Svorsborgen Horgensbrood, as they've come to be known, have certainly captured the public imagination, with a recent vote naming Helvetica Svorsborgen Wongensvoord the most likely to survive a massive electric shock.
Helvetica Svorsborgen Wongensvoord here with a little update from Dante's Taint. This year's going to be our biggest ever harvest and autumn's just 2 weeks away. Or at least that's what we think. There's no real day or night down here and all the clocks broke a long time ago. But if our calculations are right, we think that for you up there it is Wednesday the 4012th of January, or as you call it, Pissmouth Day. Or possibly Boxing Day if we're a bit out, so happy Pissmouth! I hope you get all the presents you asked for left under your Pissmouth tree. I'm hoping to complete my collection of rocks. See you in September. Helvetica out.
It's hard to believe they've been down there so long now.
But as everyone knows, time moves differently underwater, Jeremy. That's why goldfish are so stupid.
That's right. As anyone will tell you, the deeper the bowl,
the thicker the goldfish.
There's no denying the logic of that.
Class war, a worrying turn today for the formerly rich as ever more punishing measures are announced, Alex.
With the country becoming ever more hostile to the previously wealthy, those who manage to skip the country must be very grateful to the people who help them right now.
We have it from several sources that rich runaways have actually begun to spontaneously lose their teeth one by one. Is it some sort of cosmic justice, or has masked vigilante Dental Dennis been up to his old tricks again?
Wow.
And Advance speaks out, with the snuggle struggle proving a test to governments around the world. Advance HQ released a curious statement this afternoon.
In the accompanying release, they asked us to stress that they have been listening, and that this should be taken as a response to how the people really feel.
We've certainly done our bit on this show to contribute to the political climate. But let's not forget, how we behave in our home lives is what really matters.
Let's hope it's not just me who filled out that questionnaire, Jeremy, or we're all in trouble.
Let's play that statement.
Good evening. One of the many new jobs I have in this current crisis is to liaise on a daily basis with the Department of Perambulation, and they have made me aware of these. Now, these are genuine requests from citizens for permission to go outside. Now, I would like to share a few of these with you tonight under the loose heading of what the fuck is wrong with you people? How difficult is this to grasp? I'd like to start with James from Angerhampton, who says he needs to go out because there's a duck in the park that I like to try and feed on a Friday. I call him Mr. Quackington, and I think we're really starting to bond. No, James, they make their hives in parks. And then Katie from Self-Righteous on Sea wants to go out so she can deliver homemade meals to the elderly. No, Katie, stay at home. Your casserole's dire, and Shirley can get by with tins of creamed rice from the 1950s. And you, Lewis, from Hamble Bamblebury, those screams you heard in the alley last night behind your house are best left to the police. Now, I want to make it as clear as I can. Think first, stop sending me stupid, sodding requests, and stay inside. Pretend it's not happening until we tell you it's all over. Thank you.
Delectable stuff.
Later tonight, Jeremy will be catching up with brave roving reporter Patrick Bannon, while I check in with two friends of the programme who find themselves stranded at opposite ends of the country.
And then, in part 3, there's going to be a quiz. Presumably because there's nothing more important going on that you might like to report on if you were, say, a news programme.
And in a moment, we'll both be asking Sophia Remington how such a trusted brand can have made such a terrible manufacturing mistake.
With what it describes here as help from popular psychic scientist Delia Lywell.
Oh, I like her.
Don't, why do you do that?
That's all coming up on tonight's
National Nightly News. Tonight, how did we get here? Where are we going? And most importantly, who's to blame?
Joining us from her ranch in Arlingsfield, Milkirky is the CEO of Remington's Fist, internationally respected business Svengali, Sophia Remington.
Thank you for having me, Megan. I'm a huge fan of your work.
And from a crystal healing laboratory, what I assume is a garage in Upper Lowington, inexplicably renowned psychic scientist, Dr. Delia Lywell. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Sorry, us?
Myself and the eminent professors.
Is that what you call the voices in your head?
The voice seem to attract dead scientists. I don't really know why.
The money?
They express themselves to me through ethereal algebra and quadratic predictions. It's all very technical.
No, it isn't.
I concur. Miss Remington, the entire Snuggle Hugs range will surely go down as the biggest public relations disaster in history, won't it?
Well, of course, that's one world record we would never have sought to claim.
What can you say at a time like this?
There is only one thing that can be said. I'm sorry. We're sorry. From everyone here at Remington's Fist, but especially the dedicated inventors and world-beating engineers at Rimming Toys, we are deeply, deeply sorry. Who could have predicted that letting a child's toy learn how to love could have such unforeseen consequences?
Mary Shelley?
We see you, Sophia Remington. You are preening by a metal vessel, and where you venture, you will see neither land nor sky.
Is that supposed to be the future?
Only the past is concrete. I remember being a child in my grandpa's workshop when he made the first dancing hanging toy. He put it by my bed, and when I couldn't sleep, I'd wind it up and let it go, and I'd watch that happy little execution as it wiggle and wave its tiny noose and dance before my eyes. Grandpa sold thousands of them, on the quiet, obviously, and he used the money he made to found Rimming Toys, which is now just one small part of the global supermassive megacore that is Remington's Fist. Sadly, we lost Grandpappy along the way. He died in a fire at the preschool tobacco factory, another one of his pet projects. But we never lost his spirit of invention.
Yes, I'm not entirely certain what your grandfather's offensive toys have to do with the current predicament.
The spirit of invention, Mr. Donaldson. The passion to create, to problem solve. And that is why I'm here today, to tell you about a brand new product we're launching simultaneously around the world from midnight tonight.
We said science! Science! We hear its song on the breeze, its breath on the wind, its fart under the covers.
How does she do it?
Well, please, don't keep us in suspense any longer.
Won't be my feature she's making up next.
Remington's Fist is proud to present Snuggle Traps. Safety and security in these dangerous times. Each box of Snuggle Traps contains 8 devices, all guaranteed to stop a Mrs. Snugglehug in its tracks. That's enough for a small lawn or 4 window boxes. And you want to know the best thing? They're only $129.99 a box. Now that is affordable peace of mind.
We see you, Jeremy Donaldson.
Not now, honey, I'm mid-pitch. The best thing about Snuggle Traps is they're powered by next-generation Flardinium batteries. So, however long the enemy lasts, these traps will outlast them.
We see you, Mr. Donaldson. You are screaming and yelling. Your friends are crying. They fear you. And then you're gone.
Oh my god, I just got chills. Did anyone else just get chills then?
I think I did.
I think it's more concerned. I think I'd be more concerned about these traps. Quickly, before we go to the break, these appear to be attractively repackaged landmines. Aren't they dangerous to children?
Oh, hell yeah. These are not toys, but they're explosive fun.
Sophia Remington, Dr. Delia Lywell, thank you for joining us.
When we come back, we'll be taking a look at the situation across the country tonight.
Don't go away. We'll be back after these bandages.
Was that all right?
Oh, yes, Doctor, that was exactly what we...
She seems very nice, that young Miss Remington.
I think she'd make an interesting dinner guest.
Do you think so? I think I'd rather spend the evening shoving Delia's sacred crystals up my skeptical arsehole.
Hello, mate. It's Dave. You're not going to believe this, but I've decided to come home. Listen, I'll call you back at the next break and we can talk about how I get me job back. Cheers, Alex. See you, mate.
Your employer's complete lack of responsibility. Every issue comes complete with this companion magazine, containing the impotent good wishes of your colleagues and a non-specific corporate apology.
Yeah,
For a limited time, get your hands on the electroshock collection.
Exactly, you've said it, I've said it. He must know, he's not...
Why under your pillow, though?
It's self-love, you should support me.
I support self-love. It's the photo of yourself you sleep with I'm struggling with.
Here, why? I was walking down the street and I caught my own reflection. I thought, what a brave young man.
Okay, coming back. In 5, 4, 3... Welcome back to the National Nightly News. I'm Megan Ruth. Now it's time to take a trip around the country to hear how the lockdown might impact the nation from some friendly faces. Joining me are respected academic Katie Brightman and author of Alan James's Kites, Alan James. Thank you for joining me.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me, Megan.
Thanks, Megan. It really is a pleasure, Katie. I enjoyed our little heated encounter.
I wish I could say the same.
So first off, Katie, how are you coping?
I'm holding up okay. The lockdown directive was so sudden that, like many people, I haven't been able to get home.
Oh no, what happened?
I was staying at a hotel after an international policy convention, and we had a particularly heavy night out. You know what economists are like.
Notoriously hate splitting the bill.
And I overslept, and as you can imagine, I've been here ever since. But there are certainly people much worse off than me.
Exactly. My tour has been cancelled indefinitely, and I've had to refund every single ticket, even the cheap seats.
Oh, Alan, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, people are being quite rude about it. They don't seem to realise I've already spent it filling the beach house with beef.
The crisis claims yet another victim.
So, this is just a reminder that my book, Alan James is Right, is now available in paperback.
Unbelievable.
What was that?
You're unbelievable.
So, Katie, how do you think this might affect the economy? Should we be worried?
Very, Megan. Not to sound dramatic, but this could be catastrophic. Unemployment has skyrocketed, and frankly, it will be a miracle if a lot of businesses can survive this.
There you go, scaremongering again, spreading this latest liberal hoax. That's what they want. They want us quiet. They want us compliant. And they want us inside.
A hoax? How on earth can you say that, Alan?
Well, I haven't actually seen one of these supposed toys. Have you?
Well, no, but...
Did you know 3,000 people die every year from regular toys? That's a lot of people. And this is no different. You're just as likely to be hunted down by a yo-yo or a tennis racket.
He makes an excellent and persuasive point, Katie.
Don't listen to her, Katie. The press are the enemy of truth.
She's agreeing with you, Alan, you absolute shit!
Well, then I must be wrong.
Alan, are you now recanting your statement that these toys aren't dangerous?
People are saying they're just like normal toys, and that simply isn't true. Corrupt media lies.
And Katie, how do you respond to Alan's claims that Mrs. Snugglehugs might be dangerous after all?
I suppose I guess I'm agreeing with him.
Thank you, Katie. I appreciate your support. A lot of folks are saying this Mrs. Snugglehug situation will all blow over.
Nice.
It won't.
Yes, right, exactly. We need decisive action from the government. We need huge financial support to protect our workers and our businesses. We need to support the vulnerable, and we need
to repent. Exactly right, Katie. We brought it on ourselves with all our liberal indulgences like art, cake, and healthcare. We need to act now and begin sacrificing our firstborns, or at a push, a beloved family pet.
Absolutely, Alan. If we can all successfully come together as a community and perform the ritual, hopefully we will appease the great ancient.
What?
Katie, could it be any worse?
Luckily, over the past few years under Advance, they've invested heavily into health, so the system can actually bear the strain.
Is it lucky that the Llama Lords have unleashed a horde of man-made monsters on its own people to conceal the enemy within?
Will you just stop for 5 fucking seconds?
The Global Alliance of Fish People are amassing an army amassing an army to kidnap us.
That's you. That's what you sound like.
But I don't sound like that.
Yes, you do.
You do, Alan. You do sound like that.
And that's why no one wants to end.
I've got loads of friends.
No, you haven't.
I don't think you do, Alan.
Yeah, stop lying, Alan.
I'm not lying. You are.
Oh, good one. Oh, good one.
Well, I'm telling.
Alan James, Katie Brightman, thank you for joining me. Some real food for thought there from two of the territory's leading minds. Any moment now, I'll be heading over to Jeremy, who is going to be bringing us an up-to-the-minute report of the status of the nation. Over to you, Jeremy.
Thank you for what I'm sure was a reasonable debate which really contributed to the national conversation. Next, out on the streets, someone who's always doing exactly that. It's Patrick Bannon. Are you there, Patrick?
Hello, Jeremy. Yes, hello, I'm here. I'm here live. Apologies for the quality of the broadcast today. Couldn't find any cameramen or women brave enough to come and join me, so I'm out here on my own.
Right, and can you tell us what it's like out there?
Yep, I can. It's as you can see behind me, the streets are currently completely deserted. But my question, Jeremy, is just how long? I mean, could there be danger lurking just around the corner, waiting to end the fledgling career of this young policy journalist before his full potential is even realised? Will he die, underappreciated by management, and frankly, if you ask me, very, very much underpaid?
I don't think there's any danger of that, Patrick. What's that on your jacket there?
Oh, that's actually a sponge. What I've done here is made a snuggle-proof jacket, Jeremy. The network didn't bother sending me any PPE, so I've been forced to improvise. In fact, showing the sort of resourcefulness that would make me an ideal candidate for, I don't know, for example, an anchor position starting whenever they'd like.
From your point of view, Patrick, just how safe are our streets?
Not safe at all, Jeremy, not safe at all. I'd recommend people staying inside, following government advice and not putting themselves at any risk at all. Unless, of course, like me, it's for groundbreaking journalism reasons.
And just where are you, Patrick?
I'm in the street, on the street.
Which street?
I think I'm struggling to hear you, actually, Jeremy, there.
Which street? Which street are you on?
Oh, which street am I on? Oh, God. I'm just looking for a sign. There it is. Bannon Avenue.
Bannon Avenue?
Yep.
Bannon Avenue.
Yeah, no, I can hear you fine. Yep, I'm on Bannon Avenue on the sign, it says there.
Like Patrick Bannon?
Oh, yeah, that is like, that's strange, that's a weird sign. I don't know what's going on there.
Where are you really?
I'm on Bannon. Alright, fine, I'm not on Bannon Avenue, I'm at home, to be honest. Alright, fine. Well, I'm in my bathroom, technically, but, you know, I couldn't face it, to be honest, mate. It's, you know, it's terrible out there. I don't want to go outside. They're everywhere. I'm sorry for lying.
We don't expect any less of you, Patrick.
Can you hear that sound? What the hell's that?
I can, yes. I'm no expert, Patrick, but it sounds unmistakably like a tiny fist tapping on your door there.
Oh, fuck, it does. Oh, fuck, Jeremy, shit, no! Oh, bollocks. Right.
Perhaps there's a small queue of tiny fists, each wielding a different gendered household implement, ready to bash in the heads of lying little roving reporters.
You're lying, aren't you? Oh, shit. Fucking, listen to me, you bastards. If you're out there, just to piss off, you little fucking snuggle fucks. I'm too talented to die. Oh, too talented. What the fucking hell? Okay, it's fine. Oh, God.
Don't worry, Patrick. I'd say you've got a few seconds before they break their way in there and finish you off. What do you see, Patrick?
Ah! Okay.
Thank you, Patrick, for that report, showing the nation, and more importantly, management, just where you belong. It's time for another break, but when we come back, we'll be happy to take your mind off the world for a little while, and who knows, maybe even bring you a few smiles. Join us after this. You're damn right. Yeah, I had them delivered. Yeah.
Are we gonna get murdered by a teddy bear?
No, I'm not.
Oh God!
I'm not.
Oh, he's gonna like randomly change feeds?
I'm not. I'm not.
Because you'll have to go out in public eventually.
Yeah, he is.
Frankly, well, welcome back anyway. We know isolation isn't easy, so finally tonight we have something a bit different for you.
Oh, we click
Even
on
though
him.
Some people felt it's not our job to entertain the public with absolute nonsense. Other, more important people overruled those people. So it's time to
What?
find out who will National Nightly win and who will National Nightly lose. Fuck off! So, how do we play? Well, joining me is a man who knows all about playing. It's Tommy Harris. Hello, Tommy.
All right, Johnny. It's good to see ya.
And how are you finding the lockdown, Tommy?
What do you mean lockdown?
The enforced isolation of everyone in the country.
Ah, yeah. I think I heard about that actually. Yeah.
You're in bed, Tommy.
Yeah. You called during nap time, so.
Of course, that's my fault. So, why don't you tell us how the game is played?
Well, it's pretty simple, Jeremy, you sausage. I'm going to ask contestants from around the territory 3 questions about what else, yours truly. And those people are going to get a chance to win a very special prize.
And what are they playing for, Tommy?
Drum roll, please. Drum roll, please. Jeremy.
Oh.
Jeremy. Thank you. This.
Is that... What is that?
It's my athletic support, Jeremy.
Oh.
But I've signed it, so...
Oh, well then, what a fantastic prize.
Have we got anybody waiting to win this once-in-a-lifetime prize, Jimmy?
I believe we have Angie on the line. How do you feel about winning this man's old pants, Angie?
I've never been so excited, Jeremy. And can I just say...
Well, you've said it now, haven't you?
Oh, Angie, I love you. In a way. Tell us about yourself, Angie.
Well, what can I say? My name is Angie. Always has been. I'm a human woman, and my dental hygiene has been described as acceptable.
Brilliant! Right, well, shall we get this shambles underway?
Absolutely, John. Can I get 30 seconds on the clock, please?
We haven't got a clock.
Yeah, I did ask for a clock. So,
Well, why don't you start, and I'll stop you when it inevitably becomes unbearable to watch.
I love it. All right, here we go. Time starts now. Question 1. When is my birthday?
The 13th of August at 7:19 a.m.
That is absolutely correct. Question 2. What? I said, what is my favourite colour?
Crushed praline 4.
Correct, the colour of my nipples. And finally, Angie dear, what is my star sign?
That's a trick question. You were born outside of the human understanding of the cosmos.
Unbelievable, that is correct. Stop the clock.
Wow, that really was tough to watch. How did you do, Tommy?
Well, Angie, my love, you got every single question right. Which of
She's
course
turned something off the plug, Alex.
Absolutely nothing. Thanks for playing, Angie. Bye. Do we have another contestant on the line at Jelly Bean?
We do indeed. We should have Sonia Artleach. Are you there, Sonia?
Of course I am, Jamie, darling.
Thank you for being here, Sonia.
Oh, there you are, Tommy. Mwah.
Let me guess, you work in theatre, don't you?
Is it that obvious? What gave it away? Was it the glamour or poise?
It certainly wasn't your inherent sense of humility.
Tell us about yourself, Sonia.
Oh, well, if you must play this game. I am a theatrical agent. I represent the likes of Rudy Beefman, Samuel Coffee Cup, and Jodie Carpetburn, amongst others.
And how's the lockdown affected you, Sonia?
Well, they may have closed the theatres, shut the studios, and boarded the cinemas, but they won't get me that easily.
How are you managing without any work?
Due to clause in all of my artist contracts, I am able to claim my 15% from their unemployment benefit.
Wow, that certainly is sharp.
Standard stuff, standard stuff.
And can I ask, where are you speaking to us from?
Well, I work from home, you know, to keep costs down.
And who's this?
Oh, well, you know, when they gave the order, I was actually mid-meeting with a client, so we've been isolated together.
No fucking way!
What the fucking fuck?
Is that Tommy Harris? I'm a huge fan. Can I just tell you how bloody brilliant you are?
Actually, Jeff, we're about to play a game, aren't we, Tommy?
We've got time,
Well, if it's not too bold, I think I am in love with you, Mr. Harris.
No, it's not too bold. That's all right, don't worry.
Hey, I'd love to show you stuff. I've been working on some new shit.
Well, at least you're already aware.
During lockdown, we've been workshopping some of Jeff's ideas for much younger children, haven't we?
People still let you near their children, do they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I've been developing some shows for younger children.
Well, we'd love to see it, wouldn't we, Gerbil?
Absolutely dying to.
Right, so, what do kids love?
Timely child support payments from their absent fathers.
Shallow and overproduced musical numbers?
That's right. Animals! So, I'm trying to address the things that kids need to know, but through a medium that they'll understand. Do you understand?
I think so, yes.
Jeff's one of my best clients, aren't you?
I am, yeah. So, the first one we've been working on is called The King of the Jungle's Mortgage Repayments. It's about a lion who's having problems with his interest rates.
I see. Does he have a broker?
He does, yes. He's a porcupine. How did you know that?
Well, your work is universal, darling. It speaks to people.
I'm going to say something to you, mate. I think you're onto something here.
Oh, the bear,
Yes, right. This one is much better. So, this one tells the tale of Mr. Bear. Now, Mr. Bear is a very sad bear, because all of the other bears don't think that he'll amount to much, and they tell him that his plays are lazy and derivative.
I think you're onto something there.
Now, Mr. Bear is a tragic figure. Picture this. He's at his lowest ebb. The trees are closing in. He can't even face his salmon, can he? But then he meets someone that will change his life forever.
This is fucking gripping.
That's right. He meets a wise old octopus who takes him under his wing and says, "No, Mr. Bear, don't be sad. You're not like all the other bears. You have this ambition and these dreams."
Such fucking dreams.
I think I love you, Jeff.
And what you need to do, Mr. Bear, says the octopus, probably doing an 8-armed gesture or something.
What you need to do to find us in this crazy old forest is you need to set yourself more realistic goals. It's called Mr. Bear Lowers His Expectations.
Wow, you really have taken yourself to new depths. And what do you want children to take away from this?
Oh, fuck shit, fuck.
What?
I said a more realistic worldview.
Are you all right, Jamboree?
It's Jeffrey. My name is Jeffrey Donington.
No, stop. How does it end? We need to know how it ends.
Well, all the animals learn a thing or two about inevitable mediocrity.
Yeah, and Mr. Bear settles down near to his parents' cave, stops trying to make his band happen, and he goes into bear telemarketing.
Becomes a bear maths teacher.
Oh, and we end... We end on a big musical number. Oh, there's dancing. It's very repetitive, so it's catchy but not too challenging. Well, if you like, I could go and get my boombox.
Yeah, I might be able to... Hang on, can we get Angie back?
Why not? The more the merrier, as they say at orgies.
What?
Right, I'll just fill then, shall I? Coming up in a moment, it's the world premiere that nobody saw coming.
Lights!
Or wanted. at all.
What?
I can only apologise in advance for what we're all about to endure.
How do you turn
You got changed quick.
Like wise old Mr. Octopus with way too many arms. There's Mr. Pig and Mr. Cow, they're always in good moods. But that's 'cause they don't know they'll soon be sliced up into food. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's where your hopes go to turn into despair. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's where your dreams go to die. Mr. Raccoon wants to go to the moon. He'll end up as a bus driver soon. Mr. Porcupine thinks he'll read the news at 9. He'll end up as a janitor who slinks a turpentine. Mr. Ape got sent down for rape. Didn't work out he was innocent till he was 88. Mr. Bird flew south, superstardom on his path. Ended up on the end of a belt with an orange in his mouth. Oh, Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's the place your mummy pushed your daddy down the stair.
What?
Mr. Bear, 6 months in intensive care. That's why the bitch has to die.
Oh, we didn't have to censor that.
The farmer thinks the dangly doodle creatures are asleep. But Mr. Bear's a swinger like the pigs and cows and sheep. He visits every penance sty and always brings the fun. And jerks off Mr. Quackington, who's always first to come.
Okay.
Mr. Badger's bum and Mrs. Donkey's quim. Then he fronts with Mr. Chicken till they both are quite done in. Then he runs around the farmyard trying to shove it where it fits. And ends the night by plotting over Mrs. Badger's tits. There's never a dull moment down on Dangly Doodle Farm, kids. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's the sound of maggots growing underneath your hair. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That is your friends in a pie. Yum, yum.
What?
Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's a giant spider in the shoe you want to wear. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That is the end, that is nigh. That's where your friends go to lie. That's how you'll scream when you die.
Wow, I could not get any of that.
Amen. And before we say goodnight, there's just time for tonight's parable.
What?
For it did come to pass that on the road there was a wise man and a foolish man and a weird man. And there did come upon them from the local village a truth seeker named Unlikely Brian. And he did come to them with alms and someone else's arms and a question. "O wise and weird and foolish man," he said, whilst dancing the traditional jig of inquiry common in those lands at those times, "how, grant thou, can the many weights and measures of life be balanced?" And the wise man did say, "There are no riches greater than family." And the foolish man did say he'd heard a good tip for the camel race and that it was a sure thing. And the weird man did say that 2 ears was just the right number, because there was no good place to put a third that wouldn't be aesthetically upsetting. Although he did see the use for a second anus. And Unlikely Brian did fall into wonder and befuddlement at their answers, although he was also wondering if either the foolish man or the weird man had any actual value in this sort of professional consultative environment, for what he did not know was that the profound man and the practical man were both on annual leave that week, and the foolish man and the weird man were all that the agency had available. But what Unlikely Brian did not reveal was that he was asking for his friend Alex, who had enraged their spouse over a passport, treated their son Charlie like he was still a little baby, and was too miserly to even pay for their daughter's holiday. And thus did Alex's family become like our Lord when he discovered a to as Nebuchadnezzar the Leaf. Well, that's all we have time for tonight. I'm Archangel Megan Wolf. Have a heedful man. We done. Oh my God. I thought I was going to piss myself halfway through that. Not even joking. Right, babe, I've got to go and get my bits done. Yeah, I'm seeing that guy tonight again, aren't I? Yeah, well, at the end of the day, babes, he makes my fanny flutter. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, come on then, you lot, out my house. And you, Alex. All right? I don't want you here when I'm on my date. I'm on a promise. Alex.
Wake up, Alex.
Wake up.
Wake up. Wake up, Alex. Alex. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
That was terrifying. All words were censored. Kind of don't think that happened. Interference-free show, an exceedingly poor edit. That seems to be the same thing every time. Oh good, we're in the hospital. The rhythmic beating of the heart monitor brings you slowly back to consciousness. Opening your eyes, you're greeted by a semicircle of concerned faces. Your family, by your side. A reassuring, familiar sight in these new surroundings. You blink a few times to clear the sleep from your eyes and bring everyone into focus. Looking up, Sam's face is a mixture of concern and frustration. Things haven't been great between you two lately, and Sam hasn't been helping things. And Chris hasn't been helping things. Looming at Sam's shoulder with a sour expression, it's clear there's still no love lost between the two of you. While Sam... Okay, seriously, dude, it's been 5 months now? Like, get over it. While Sam clearly is worried about you, the family scowl is obvious on both of their faces. Reach out a hand to Sam. Thanks for coming, honey. I don't understand. We've been pretty nice to her, and she was pretty nice to us. The worry for you wins out, and Sam takes your hand, before leaning in to kiss your forehead. Of course, sweetheart. I could never have been anywhere else. For the first time in a while, you both genuinely smile at each other, before you look at the rest of your family. Susie is standing next to Sam, less worried now that you're awake and smiling. You can see Sam's worry on your daughter's face, but it quickly turns to a frown when she notices you looking at her. I'm glad you're okay. It's muttered more than said, a grudgingly acknowledgement that, despite your recent differences, she still cares. Thanks for coming, you groan back playfully. Susie can't help but smile back at you, rolling her eyes good-naturedly. It's great to have her here. Charlie catches your eye as he fidgets with the edge of the blanket. You cock your head and look at him, one eyebrow raised questioningly. As soon as you turn to look at him, you can see Charlie tense up, his concern clear on his face. So, you're definitely good, right? He asks finally, quickly looking away. Of course I am, buddy. There's nothing to worry about. Charlie looks at you and grins, one of those infectious smiles that spreads around the room. It's always good to have him in your corner. Your smile fades as you notice your mother, staring listlessly out the window. Despite all your best efforts, she's not been doing well lately. Are you okay, Mom? Your mother starts, your call clearly shocking her out of her reverie. She turns to you and smiles, and you're grateful to see the increasingly rare recognition in her eyes. Yes, dear, of course. How are you feeling? You smile warmly and nod, but before you can respond, a doctor busts in and ushers everyone out. She asks you, for what feels like the 100th time how you're feeling. Surprisingly well, all things considered. Excellent. There's no sign of any real damage. Just a bit of shock to the old system. Pardon the pun, she smiles. Not that we'd recommend you do anything like that again, of course. After a couple of days' rest at home, you should feel right as rain. She turns to leave, but stops at the door. Oh, and the private room and care? The doctor gestures to your room, which you now notice looks rather expensive. Has all been paid by Mr. Bosman. He left those flowers. He said not to worry and to take the rest of the week off. He'll see you Monday, apparently. Seems like the least he could do. Seriously? I mean, it's nice that he paid for the room. But he's being nice enough to give us the week off and expects us to be back on Monday after we nearly electrocuted ourselves? I'm guessing the whole teddy bear episode was just in our head. Six months. You come home from a particularly late shift to find the kitchen light still on, which isn't normally a good sign. Everyone's usually in bed by now. Softly opening the kitchen door, you find Sam sat at the table. Bills and papers are strewn in front of them, as well as what looks to be their second pack of biscuits. They give you a quick kiss as you take a seat next to him. I want cookies. Also, why are bills paying up if we're starting to get rich? Sam frowns and goes back to the bill they're holding. Hey, sweetheart. Just looking at the numbers again. They look to the door to the pantry, now converted into your mother's bedroom. The pantry is big enough to be a bedroom? What? How big is your pantry? That's obscene. We've been doing our best, but I think Cassandra really needs a nurse to look after her now. Suddenly, the bills are all you can see. Fortunately, with the money that's been coming in and what we've been able to save, we've got more than enough to keep going. Sam smiles at you. I know things have been difficult, and the daily care won't be cheap, but she's your mother. We really have to, don't we? The other option? Oh, man! Rough! Well, I mean, if we're starting to get rich, I guess we can pay for the nurse. I mean, we're not going to get rich. But, oh, fuck, that is a harsh option. Damn. You gratefully smile back. Of course you'll pay for the care your mother needs. Holiday time. The sword of Damascus sheathed, at least for the moment. You grab the papers and stuff them into a drawer. It's such a relief not to have to worry about it anymore. Or so you told Sam. Hours later, you're still awake. Staring at the ceiling, thinking, how long will the money last? Wait, Peter Clement is a TV personality? Alright. I want to do one or two more, but I'm getting tired and my eyes are getting strained, so I think we're going to have to call it here for tonight. This is a very strange game.
I'm Megan Wolf. And I'm Jeremy Dawes. Our main headlines tonight.
This is not really what I was expecting. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting, but oh, jeez. Don't play the telephone. Which one's this? Oh, okay.
Alex Winston, it's Bozeman here, your boss. It's come to my attention that you've replaced Dave in the control room, and your performance so far has been mostly adequate. However, I'll need to observe myself to check you're up to snuff, and to that end you'll now be mixing an old recorded broadcast to ensure you can do the job to my satisfaction. Don't worry, other than the odd tear and jump in the footage due to age, it shouldn't require you to deal with anything new. Though do keep an eye on the censor. They had stricter sensibilities in those days. And of course, don't forget to load the adverts. Bozeman out.
I don't remember this one. Is this the one that we skipped out on, maybe? Like, if we came into work the weekend, we would have to do this?
Good evening, I'm Megan Wolf.
And I'm Jeremy Dawes. Our main headline.
Weird. Well, I don't know. I'll try my best to start a little early tomorrow, because if this is, well, yeah, if this is 8 hours, then we're under half, and I want to try to get this done tomorrow. So I'll try to show up early tomorrow, but we'll have to see how things go. I did unfortunately start late tonight and later, considering I wanted to start a bit earlier as well. But oh well. All right, guys, I need to go to sleep. My eyes are quite strained. Thank you so much for playing with me. I appreciate it. And I will see you next time.